You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Well, there's a look this morning at the NFL owners' meetings here in Palm Beach. And that is Liam Coen, surrounded by a lot of media. Not everybody's there for Liam Coen. There are all the AFC coaches at the different tables. And that's what you're seeing there here in Palm Beach. The NFL owners' meetings got underway yesterday, here today, tomorrow, basically a 3-day event. And the first time we've heard from Liam Coen, the new Jaguars head coach, since the NFL Combine, which is more than a month ago. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Breakers in Palm Beach. Oh, this is a good place. We don't stay here, by the way. No way. It's pretty expensive here. You don't stay here either, Austen Lane. Jason Hamby definitely doesn't stay here. This is not in our tax bracket.
No, for real. I mean, even just the sound of Breakers makes it sound like we're talking about the Four Seasons or something. You know, like when you talk about the Breakers, yeah, you're probably paying like $25 for like an after dinner mint that's on your pillow.
Yeah, that might be the case. We'll hear from Liam Coen. I had a chance to catch up with him. I think what's interesting, if you've seen some of the stuff that came out of Coen this morning, we had a chance to catch up with him and talk about Travis Hunter a little bit, and I don't think they did that in the 30-minute roundtable unless I missed something. Plus, also, we will have some sound on Christian Kirk and the division with D'Amico Ryans from the Houston Texans. So a lot of different things to get to, and an update on Trevor Lawrence, and I think that was kind of interesting today, where, remember, he's coming back from surgery at the end of the season. And Austin, it seems like he's throwing. He's been in the building a bunch, really committed. Him and Coen have had a couple of dinners together, but they can't really do football stuff until later in April and into OTAs and everything else. But good sign, I think, when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, as you start to see this relationship between head coach and quarterback start to develop.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it's all about, right? And obviously you have to do that in a smaller capacity just because there is rules and, regulations that have been put into place. So, yeah, as far as the X's and O's are concerned, you probably can't go over too much, probably can't watch film together, go over the playbook and everything until, the OTAs officially start. But you can still kind of build a little bit of a rapport because obviously that relationship between your play caller, your head coach, and your quarterback is going to be huge at this up-and-coming season.
Yeah, a couple other things out of these meetings to keep an eye on. We might hear from Shad Khan, not from today, I just want to be clear on that, but we caught up with him in October in London. I asked him about the 18-game potential season, and we will hear from him about that because I kind of held on to that, never played that. So we will see what he had to say about that and if he's in favor of it, because that topic is going to start to ramp up in NFL circles at places like this. It's not going to be approved or anything voted on right now, but 18-game schedule could be on the horizon sooner than later in the NFL. The other thing is the tush-push. Should it be banned? There are things like 1st and 10 defensive holding. I kind of like that idea from the Detroit Lions. Will they keep with that rule that it's an automatic first down, or will they change that? So those are the kind of things that get done with the competition committees and things that get at least potentially approved to change some of the rules and regulations in the NFL. I'll go over some kickoff numbers for you a little bit later. I think that part was pretty interesting. Hey, Austin, just from your view on an 18-game schedule, where do you stand on that? And how much could factor into the players in terms of the added revenue that they could receive, not just the owners and also the NFL, out of an 18-game regular season? Remember, 20 games is 20 games, but obviously there's a lot more to sell in that game and money to be made in an extra regular season game than a preseason game.
No, I mean, obviously, if you talk about 18 games, then you need to increase the amount of pie that these players can get because, once again, for a league that, preaches player safety being the top priority, it's hard to justify, hey, well, we added 17 games. Here's another one just because, just because. Like, that there has to be some sort of incentive there. So, obviously it's going to be more money for the players, but I wonder, and this may not be this year, but when the next CBA comes around, if we're going to talk about renegotiating now for a bigger piece of the pie, just because from the players, I mean, set aside from money, I'm not sure what more you can really ask for in terms of contracts, in terms of the elongated season. Like you can go and ask for guaranteed contracts. It's never going to happen. There's too many players. So like what else can you really ask for? And I think just obviously more money, more piece of that pie is what it's going to be.
With the way the salaries have increased, right? Like, does that play into, hey, the players are saying, look, they're showing us the money, and look at the salaries we're getting, and everything's really increased over the last 5, 6, 7 years. That might have players a little bit more acceptable to the 18-game season because of the salaries that we're seeing now, and obviously could be even more of a cut, more of a salary cap, all those other things.
I mean, that's what it has to come down to, because it's not like players want to go out there and play an extra game. The season's already long enough. But if you make it, if you give them the incentives where they're going to make a lot more money, then yeah, it's obviously kind of hard to turn down. I think it's going to question, what is the preseason going to look like? Will it be even more shortened now if you're going to add more games on the back end of the regular season? So I think that there's a lot of ins and a lot of outs, but at the end of the day, the most important part is, are these players, making their money where they're actually motivated to go out there for that 18th game?
All right. Hey, let's hit on a couple other things coming out of the weekend, including the Final Four. All one seeds, Austin. Does it bother you?
Yep.
Florida, obviously, now 2 wins away from a national championship, but that was the only good game in the Elite Eight. I was surprised by that. I thought because we got all chalk, we'd have really good basketball games. We really didn't get that other than a crazy comeback from the Gators.
Hear me out. Make the NCAA tournament 16 teams, and that's it. Because you might as well at this point. With NIL and everything, and the way this year has gone, the way last year has gone. I thought, and last year wasn't all number ones, but you started to see the trend where, Cinderellas weren't really being showcased a lot. And I think this kind of new era is here to stay. I think this tournament style is here to stay. And I think a lot of the front runners are going to have a lot of success now. I mean, if you look at my bracket, I guess I just kind of picked against that, but I was naive, man. We had Coach Driscoll in here last week, and he obviously, I think he had all the top seeds going, so I'm sure his bracket's looking extra juicy right now. I don't think he's in our our team bracket or whatever, so thank God for that. But it's just, when all the front runners make it, I think there leaves a lot to be, desired. You still have, there should be some great matchups and everything, Brent, but we love cheering for the underdog. We love cheering for that Cinderella story, and we didn't really get that this year.
We have to expand the Elite Eight to 12 teams. We had uncompetitive games.
It does have a little college football feel to it. Hey, how about the Gators? Do they feel a little magical right now, Austin, because of the way that happened? I mean, Walter Clayton is really delivering, and I don't think the Gators have played excellent basketball in this tournament, but here they are in the Final Four, still waiting to play maybe their best basketball game.
Yeah, it's funny because last year, and I get, and Coach Driscoll even said this, it's all about the guard play, but I feel like last year it was kind of overshown because you had Zach Edey in Purdue, then you had that guy from Gonzaga where it's it's kind of the return of the bigs. Nah, not really. It's all about guard play, and obviously Florida has that. It's wild because, I feel like Florida hasn't really played that complete game yet, especially, towards these last couple of games, and Tom Izzo even said it himself going into his last game as well. It was we haven't played a complete game yet. We haven't played who we feel like we're supposed to be. And I guess if you're going to play your complete game, maybe save it for the Final Four if you're the Florida Gators, but to take on an Auburn team, and obviously Florida kind of has some bragging rights there because they went to Auburn, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of curb stomped them a little bit, but it's going to be obviously a different game now with Auburn playing at a very high level.
Yeah, I mean, how crazy was the comeback for Florida, in your opinion? I mean, 10 points, 9 points with 2:50 to go. They erased the 9. They had tied it up 75-66 with 2:50 to go, 75-75 with 1:46 to go. I mean, that's about as fast as a lead can evaporate. And they needed an offensive rebound, a 3, and then obviously more 3s, and then another 3. It just that was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it kind of comes down to you got to make your free throws, and Florida did, and that's what it comes down to. It's such a simple part of the game, but I feel like sometimes it gets overlooked until it matters the most. And give credit to Florida too because they could have tied the game and they sent to overtime, but I forgot was Was it Clayton that shot the game-winning three, essentially?
Yep.
Yes, and Clayton decided, you know what, I'm going to step back, shoot the three, and put us up by 1. So Clayton had that dog in him. He had that dog in him the entire game, and props to Florida, that they didn't stop, they didn't quit, and this is what great teams do, even when it looks like, all right, I'm not sure what the ESPN analytics said in terms of, they're down by 10 or whatever, like, they probably have a 2% chance of winning. Well, they took that 2% chance and did it.
Dude had an opportunity for a 4-foot look.
I think it was like 1%.
And dribbled it all the way out just to throw up the three, and every one of them went in.
Yeah.
That was gym class basketball right there. He was just better than everybody else.
Hey, one other note. One other note. How's Hamby doing, Austin? Can you check with his mentality? He's still wearing the Braves hat. It doesn't have like a poop emoji next to it, even though they're 0-4 after the first
what's up, man?
First weekend.
We're 0-3, Hamby, but, we're also a science experiment when it comes to using torpedo bats. Like, do you mean to tell me that Bob Uecker went out so the Milwaukee Brewers can be a science experiment, like it's the Twilight Zone, like it's Black Mirrors for the past 3 games? Hey, and MLB, we gonna do something about it or not? We just gonna ruin the entire game of baseball? We gonna step in, or we just gonna let them just hit all their home runs?
Number one, if you need analytics to tell you where on the bat you're making contact with the ball, probably shouldn't be in the big leagues.
It's working though, huh?
Number two, I'm not ready to say that the torpedo bats are what's doing this. That could just very well be the Brewers pitching.
Bad pitching. I don't know, man. The pitching lab, hashtag, I don't think so. I think there's something to these torpedo bats.
Hey, man, Nestor Cortez was serving it up there on a silver platter.
Come on now. Yeah, I
and
had zero faith in him anyways.
Apparently, the Braves have already put an order in, according to Buster Olney on Sunday Night Baseball last night, because we can't hit. But I will say this. The last time we were 0-4 was 2021. We won the World Series. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Hanging on to those analytics, Hamby. Best of luck with that. Listen, like, the MLB's got to step up and do something. Like, you just, like, at least investigate it. Like, what else do you have going on right now? It's it was the opening week. Like, send some guys down there, see what's going on, and investigate. I'm not saying, people need to be arrested or anything, but it is the Yankees, right? And we love to hate the Yankees. And now here's a new reason why we hate the Yankees. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be sick to my stomach when we got to sit through, probably in 10 years, a Disney movie about these torpedo bats, because they did it with Moneyball in Oakland. They're definitely going to have a movie about the torpedo bats, and the Milwaukee Brewers will be at the forefront of it in the worst light possible.
It is like amazing that the bats have become this much of a like, how could you change the makeup of a bat? And nobody like figured it out until 2025 or whatever we're doing here. It's just really wild, and I haven't watched a ton of it, but just pretty crazy. And also, by the way, they do play in a softball park, right? Like,
facts.
I mean, they're hitting these home runs at home, so that does help. One other baseball note: Rafael Devers is 0-for-16 with 12 Ks for the Red Sox. He told you all that he didn't want a DH, by the way, and he's proving it.
I play third base.
So I watched the majority of the whole series, even through the 20 runs. I mean, I guess I'm just a masochist and I love to sit through pain, but I watched a lot of those innings, and it's wild how on day one, where I was so checked out the first game of the series, because they talked about the bats on day one. And, like, I guess it goes to show, like, where my attention was, because all I heard in the background was, like, yeah, they changed the bats a little bit. And I thought it was, like, the wood or, like, the color of them. I wasn't expecting, like, the shape of them. And then the second game of the series, then they really got, like, cocky with it and saying, like, well, this is, like, the 7th home run. Let's go in and look at these torpedo bats. Like, why wouldn't you keep your mouth shut if you're the Yankees and, like, the broadcast team? Obviously, right now, it's giving you an advantage. Why would you tell the entire world and be braggadocious when it's the first week of the season? Keep your mouth shut and see how long you can kind of ride this out for.
Bro, they can't help themselves to the Yankees. And second of all, those things are freaking bowling pins. We'd figure it out sooner or later.
I'm just saying, I sat through one game. They even told me about it, Hamby, and I didn't notice.
All right. Hey, let's do this. Let's get. Those are some quick topics. We'll probably get into those a little bit later. We've got Shock Your Mock. We got a little Mugshot Monday. We got a little bit of everything coming up on the show today here from the NFL owners meetings. But Hamby, I had a chance to catch up with Liam Coen this morning, and and I think you have it. And then we're going to have a bunch of Liam Coen sound as well. But here's the photo with all the coaches. Raheem Morris wasn't here for it, so it's 31 coaches. And ironically, Liam Coen doesn't have a problem with Todd Bowles in Tampa after all, does he? He's just right there next to him. We had a chance to catch up with the new Jaguars coach from here in Palm Beach earlier this morning.
Welcome to the NFL owners meetings down in South Florida. Jaguars getting ready for their offseason conditioning program in a week from today, in fact. So getting ready to roll inside Jags headquarters. But first, a visit down here in South Florida at the owners meetings with Jags head coach Liam Coen. And, well, good morning to you. And the next step of the process, your first owners meetings, first team photo, by the way, with all the coaches. How was that?
That's right. Thank you, Brent. Really cool to be down here with some of these guys. A lot of them been able to meet along the way throughout this process. So many guys that have actually, impacted my career and been really responsible for a lot of that growth. So excited to be down here. Really cool to meet some new people and just kind of be down here with some of these vibes.
Give us an idea of your state of mind. Does it feel a little bit like honeymoon's over? I know you've done a lot of work since day one, interviews, staff, all these things, but it does feel like, hey, it's almost time to really get to work.
It's getting there. Obviously, as you mentioned, with the players being in so soon, and so much draft prep that we're doing so much around the building in terms of some of the signage and things we want to get done that way. So, hey, we're still getting to know each other. That's the cool part where, myself, James, and Tony specifically have been able to really spend a lot of time together throughout this process and continued here. Go out to dinner, hang out, get to know each other. But it's getting down to it, right? The players are getting in the building soon, and that's when it becomes a little bit more real. So trying to keep the main thing.
We haven't talked to you since free agency. You had 9 players. What is your view on what you guys did during those couple of days?
Yeah, I think if you look at the entirety, I think we raised the floor of the program, right? In terms of depth, got some key contributors, and really try to establish just a lot of sound, good football players that were really going to just come in and do nothing more than raise it by just being themselves, truly. And that's something that we're trying to promote, something that we really want people to come in and do. And we feel like we did a nice job with getting those players to come in and do that.
You obviously did some things along the offensive front.
Yeah.
How much do those guys not only add some experience, but add what you want to do, how you envision this offensive line performing and operating?
Yeah, that was a critical couple signings for us. I mean, we definitely wanted to continue to add depth and competition to the offensive line. I think that you can't have enough. I firmly believe that you need to have healthy competition in that room, as well as many others, but specifically at that position, the intelligence, the football IQ, some of the athleticism, those are the things that we were looking for, and people that were equally as talented in both the run and the pass. So communicators, tough guys that are going to be able to set the tone and be able to communicate in that room. Like, that's what we were looking for, and I think we did a nice job with that.
Let me ask you about a couple of specific guys. Hainsey comes in, he knows your system a bit with experience. I asked you this when you hired the staff, to make things easier for Trevor and this entire offense communication-wise.
That's right.
How much will he do that, speaking a little bit of that language, and how quick can you hit the ground running with Trevor when you get him in?
Yeah, I think it's for an entirety, for an offense in general, having players that have been in the system helps. Like, even Luke Fortner has been in a version of the system, which is actually kind of cool to have both your centers be in a version of the system, right? Obviously, Robert being in the newest version, but we can't use it as a crutch, right? Everybody's going to have to really dive into the system and get involved in it, but it's going to be helpful for so many, not just Trevor, not just the quarterbacks, having centers that know the calls, understand the language, speak the same language. That's going to help out so many more players. That'll reach out to the tight ends. That'll reach out to the receivers and running backs. So it'll be helpful to have some of those guys for sure.
De'Ami Brown looks like a chess piece for you as well in this offense. Where does he fit? What do you envision for him?
Yeah, I think it's just another ball-in-hand athlete who can also take the top off the defense, right? We can't have it so that BT is always running vertical down the field, or we're not going to be able to target him quite as much, right? You start to get further and further down the field, sometimes that percentage goes lower and lower. So, okay, we added a piece that helps get somebody else down the field where BT doesn't have to be that, while also he does something that I can't coach. He makes people miss in space. right? At the end of the day, we can get people open, we can design and scheme things, we can coach open field running and sideline running, but it's typically a trait they have that they can go out and do that I have nothing to do with. So I like those type of players, people that can kind of be creative and be unique in space when they got the ball in their hands, and because ultimately I really can't coach that.
We keep hearing intangibly rich, but how much did you target edge on some of these guys? I think of a Jordan Lewis. Looks like he plays with some of that. And
that's right.
Did you identify that you needed some of that in this locker room?
That's right. Guys that love playing football, like truly love everything about it. They love the grind. They love the process, right? Because process does drive results. And so for us, we are trying to get some guys in there that truly are competitors, that love the game, that will mesh well with our current locker room and continue to elevate it in different ways. But speaking of Jordan, that was one of my favorite guys of this class, just because of competing against him, seeing what he's been able to do as a pro against us the last few years. I've got a ton of respect for him. So he'll be able to continue to be able to do that from a communication standpoint and leadership as well, and fit in really well with that group.
How much is on the table with this 5th overall pick in terms of the vast ways you guys can go, whether you stay there or whether you pick a player?
Yeah, I think ultimately to move, you need to have partners to move, right? And you typically don't want to search those out at moments because, that number is going to go up and up. So we got a lot of different ways we can go, obviously, but you have to have a trade partner at the end of the day. So we have to be ready to pick. And as you mentioned, that'll be a fun one, right? We've got a lot of different discussions on the table, and we're trying to truly just do what is going to move the needle for us as an organization, right? Who is going to make a difference for us immediately? We want to win now. We want to be able to get some of that stuff going, and we feel like that's going to be at pick 5.
I can suggest a couple of guys if you want, but
Totally.
One guy that everybody talks about is Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a consensus on what he is in terms of a wide receiver corner and how you would use a player like that if he landed here?
Yeah, I think you have to be fluid as an organization with the signing of a Travis Hunter, right? Because of his diversity, what he can do, the amount of snaps he plays, he's going to play both sides of the ball, and that has to be an organizational buy-in from the coaches, the strength staff, the athletic training, sports performance. Everybody has to be involved, as well as the coaches, right? And having patience with each side of ball, and because you really don't want to, kind of put him in a box. You really just want to, hey, what does he come in, do the best? You're going to be able to let him do both. So you're going to find out what he's best at, and then, hey, let's mold things to that and be fluid for those conversations.
All right, let's wrap this thing up with a week from today. You get everybody in the building.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you? What does this portion, this little head start, give you as a head coach and an organization and this football team as you start getting ready for September?
Yeah, the things that we're really looking at trying to communicate is the culture, right? The things that we're trying to, the messaging to the players, to the staffing, getting everybody on the same page, speaking the same language. It's not going to be perfect day one. We're not winning a Super Bowl on day one. Those aren't the conversations we're having. They're just about getting better every single day, doing it the right way, having fun while doing it. And this is football, guys. Let's not take this thing for granted, man. There's a lot of people that work different hours and do a lot of different things that we're really blessed to be able to do this job. And let's get back to having some fun, but work in the right way.
I got a feeling one of those signs inside the building says players over plays. We'll find out when we get inside that building next week. Have a good trip here, and we'll see you next week in Jacksonville.
Thanks, Brent. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Liam Coen, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Brent Martineau down here in South Florida at the NFL Owners Meetings for Action Sports Jacks. I knew you were going to do that, Hamby. Come on, Hamby. I was hoping you would have something else coming out of this. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Hamby? You hear me all right? Good. Okay. You're not hearing me twice anymore? Is that true?
No, just once.
Okay. Okay, good. How about, I don't know if I hear Austen too well.
Mic check.
See if that is the case. There you go. Good. I got you. I'm not hearing double anymore either, so I think we're all good. Sorry, everybody who was listening early on. It could have been on my end. I don't know if I should blame Hamby on this. I think it might have been on my end. So, anyway, I thought the interesting stuff. Now, if you caught some of the tweets from Olivia Tassily, I don't know if Jaguars.com had Liam Coen live earlier today when he was at the roundtable. I'm not even sure. So people might have already seen some of the things that he said. but he wasn't asked about Travis Hunter. Austin, I thought it was pretty interesting on Hunter there. He acknowledged the fact that he's going to play both sides of the ball, and you've got to make it work and figure it out. And the reason why I was intrigued by his answer is it wasn't couched. It was basically straightforward, like, hey, this is who he is, and you got to be ready, and you got to have a plan, and you got to be okay with that. But it wasn't like, well, we'll see. So he did not identify in the answer, is he a receiver or a corner, but he's going to play both sides of the ball. I thought that was pretty fascinating that he did reveal that and was honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of talk around the NFL circles that he would, in some sort of capacity, try to play both sides of the ball. I think a lot of scouts would agree with me that it would make more sense to have him play corner and then use him in different packages on offense, maybe for like 7 or 8, 10, whatever plays a game. Like, that makes a lot of sense. As opposed to having him play wide receiver for the whole game and then, hey, by the way, go play corner like when it matters the most, right? Because I always just felt like corner is more a position where you kind of got to, like, get your rhythm. You kind of got to, like, find yourself a little bit every single game. You just can't, like, rotate people in and out and expect them, hey, go, cover the best wide receiver you can find. Like, that's not how it works. But as a wide receiver, with your skills, with your attributes, I feel like it's a lot easier to, bring players in, bring players out. I mean, heck, every team does it all the time, whether it's with tight ends, or different types of packages. So I think that's what it would look like. But once again, to echo what Liam Coen said, you got to bring him in and see what he can do. I mean, he might come into training camp, they might try him at both spots, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, this guy obviously is more comfortable at this one spot, so let's focus on there right now and then kind of use him accordingly on the other side of the football.
Yeah, pretty good, conversation with Coen. Again, I mean, we had him for a half hour in here. I point to here because it's just right over there. And then for about 5 or 6 minutes that you just heard. And probably we'll have that obviously up on actionsportsjacks.com a little bit later, and we'll use it throughout the day on the CBS 47 and Fox 30, and maybe even hear that conversation again. I thought there were some interesting things, just like right at the beginning of the conversation, he talked about the signage, and it's something I don't really think about, Austin, but I remember walking in when, like, Tom Coughlin came back in 2017, and everything looked a little bit different, right? You want to give it a little new paint job. You got different sayings. You had grit that was on the wall. You got AFC South standings, what's really important. It'll be interesting to see what some of those kind of sayings are, what they put on the wall. I wonder if they're similar to what we see, and like I mentioned, players not plays or intangibly rich. I don't think they're going to be littering the walls with those kind of things, but I wonder what their message is, right? What their mission statement is, what they want to communicate, because they've been very good at communicating very simplistic messages so far in front of microphones, in front of fans. You get what these guys are all about, so it'll be fascinating to see what they really want to be all about with the mission statement around the building once these guys get in there.
I mean, I think due to that interview that we just saw with you and Liam Coen, I believe the biggest mission statement, this might be outside of the stadium even, it's going to be get Brian Thomas Jr. the ball, right? I mean, when you ask him about Dwamie Brown, why'd you bring him here? Kind of needed a decoy to get Brian Thomas Jr. the ball. If they draft a wide receiver in the second or third round, and whoever it is that's going to be up there, whether it's Tony Baselli or Maurice Jones, Drew Fred Taylor, are they going to announce a wide receiver as, and now in the second round, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Brian Thomas Jr. decoy so-and-so? Because that's what it sounds like when Liam Coen is talking about his hungry eyes for Brian Thomas Jr.
That is a good pickup. I thought the same thing. I thought when he answered the question about Dwamie Brown, I was like, wow, it tells you more about how they envision Brian Thomas Jr. And I know you're kind of half joking. I think they do envision
Brent.
some things with Dwamie Brown. He later would say it in here. And I like this about Coen, man. He's like, listen, I can't coach him to break 3 tackles after he catches the ball. We can only get him the football, right? He's good at that. So get him the football, and then he can go break 3 tackles after the ball, talking about Dwamie Brown. So he brings something to the table there. But it was interesting how the conversation pivots right to Brian Thomas Jr., and I think it backs something up that we already know, backs something up that they had said even at the Combine. I think this really came about. The offense is going to run through Brian Thomas Jr., and obviously when you get rid of Kirk Chark and Ingram, it really runs through Brian Thomas Jr. until we see what else happens at the wide receiver position potentially in this draft. But they are not shying away from that part of it, Austin. I mean, they are going to use the guy that was a star for them last year, and it's going to be interesting how they use him in 2025 in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Jaguars fan, you're in fantasy football, you better hope you pick in the top 5 because I think he's going to be gone after that. Like, there's just a lot of hype right now for Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, Brent, you should have asked him about, like, hey, what do you think about Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby? Oh, I don't know. I think they're going to be a great, added pieces when Brian Thomas Jr. is tired from getting 12, receptions. Then we'll bring in the run game a little bit, and they can kind of give him a blow on the sidelines while he's resting to get ready to get another 10 receptions per game. And yes, Killer Tofu, I was watching Dirty Dancing over the weekend. You better believe it.
Hey, not only that, but those shock your mock, right? Hungry eyes is kind of a thing, right? Isn't there something like hungry eyes phrasing that we get on shock your mock?
Oh, it's the song, man. Got them hungry eyes, one far from you. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah, very good. Nice job. But Hamby just tweeted this, and I thought the other part of what he said in the draft question that we eventually got to Travis Hunter, man, these guys feel like they really want to move back, doesn't it? Did it sound like that to you? Am I making that up? Am I interpreting that wrong? That it's like, well, we know we need a dance partner, and you blah, 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 but it's almost like, yeah, the first thing we would do if we had the dance partner, if all things were equal and we could pick what we wanted to do, would be to move back in this draft. Like, I got the sense of that. And again, I try to be a little careful here. I don't want to put too much into what Coen says, here a month away from the draft. But I got the feeling, Hamby, you kind of heard the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's what I heard, and my ears perked up. And then he kind of went on with that. And at the very end, it almost like he Uno reversed it, and it was like, well, we're trying to go get a player that helps us win immediately, and we believe that's going to be there at 5. And I was like, what? That almost negated the whole prior answer. So it was like A+ for being a little sneaky with it and not giving anything away. But for the large majority of the answer, I was like, man, if they find somebody, and it was interesting how he says you don't necessarily want to go look for it, but they're definitely going to be hoping that people call, I would assume. And if they get a good offer, I would assume that this is something that they're definitely going to take a long, hard look at.
Brent, listen, I didn't buy too much into it simply because I think if you ask any GM during this whole process if they're willing to listen to trade offers, they're all going to say yeah. I mean, even like the guy that's picking number 1, like teams are always willing to listen. And like when you're willing to listen, it opens up to more possibilities of teams maybe getting desperate to trade with you. So I think it may have been a little more of a smokescreen than it was actually a matter of fact. Now, I might be completely wrong, but I do think there is game-changing talent at pick number 5 that, they might be interested in. But I think the entire thesis of this offseason, when they brought in James Gladstone and when they brought in Liam Coen, we have no idea what this draft is going to bring. Like, yeah, we can sit here and say, all right, well, obviously you got a defensive tackle from Michigan that you probably like. Okay, obviously you got Travis Hunter that you probably like. Maybe there's an offensive tackle there. And that's what we're saying. But we have nothing to go off of what they're going to do. Oh, and by the way, they're not having any players come visit their stadium either, which is like one of a couple teams that are doing this. So they're keeping everything like signed, sealed, and delivered of what the actual intentions are. So I think like when Liam Coen kind of, prods like, yeah, we're willing to listen to the right partner. To me, that's a little more of a smokescreen because you're trying to, garner up something because as far as the landscape's concerned, we have no idea what this team is thinking in terms of the draft this year. At least I don't.
And listen, I get you. And I would say this. I think what you just said is really true. I think most GMs not only would listen, Austin, I think most GMs almost want to trade and acquire. I think it's like in their blood. And this is where I disagree because we've had so many damn picks here in Jacksonville. I'm just so over it, right? Like, I don't need 10 picks a draft. I'm tired of it. So go get me 5 picks in the first 5 rounds or 4 rounds, I'll take that and go get me some really good football players. I'm tired of the 13-pick drafts, the 12-pick drafts. Like, I know these guys love that they've got 20 picks over the next 2 years, but still, it's just like, you better do something with them then to get me back on board with all this picks acquisition. And so they want to start there is my point, and everybody does. And so I guess that's where it comes in. And you're right, Hamby. He did kind of pivot back to you can't plan on that, right? Almost like you don't know that's going to happen, so you then better, hey, let's go get a player that's going to really help us win. And I do think that's a part of what's going on in Jacksonville is this is when you get a new regime in, it's like, hey, let's see how James Gladstone handles the next couple of months, and then it will be his draft in really 2026. And let's see how Liam Coen acclimates and this whole new front office acclimates. But 2026 will really be the year. You know what? I do sense this is a bit different because they know they're in the window of Trevor Lawrence. They know they have way more talent than the 4-win team that just showed up last year. And, yeah, they lost some good players, but they've got what they feel like are pretty good players. I guess at the end of the day, this feels a little bit more like a coaching staff that's coming in and a new regime that's coming in and not looking for a honeymoon of 2 to 3 years to get it right. It's like, no, we're going to go get it now. Now. We're going to talk about it right now instead of let's build. And not everybody talks about that, Austin, but sometimes it's kind of like inherent, just the fact that, hey, new coach. Who else had a new coach this year? Give me somebody. The
Was
Jags.
Dan Quinn?
Now.
Or was he 2 years ago?
Quinn last year.
I'm sorry, this year.
That's a good. Yeah, Quinn was a good one from last year, though, right? Because, like most people in Washington would think the reason why that was such a fun season, a successful season, well, one is because they won finally, but two, because it was unexpected, right? They didn't expect that. They thought they were going to, like, gradually with a young quarterback, take a step, hopefully, and give you some hope and positivity, not do what they did, because that's the normal thing. We've done that around Jacksonville for a long time. But I think this one's like, let's go. And we got a division that's gettable. We've got a quarterback that's in his deal. We've got good players on both sides of the ball that we can work with, and we've got picks that we can add with. And we got a top 5 pick, so let's go get it. I like that mentality. We'll see what they do with it, but I do like the mentality that it's not like, hey, we'll see you in a couple of years in the playoffs. I think this is, let's try to go get it right now. That's part of the refreshing nature of this, I think, guys, that they're kind of all in right away, and there's a little bit of sense of urgency to take advantage of the now.
No, for sure, but also I just think of, when you look at guys like DeMeco Ryans, when you look at guys like you just saw in Washington, where first-year coaches like Dan Quinn, they can come in and make a big difference right away, and that's kind of like the standard now. I feel like in the past, you want to go back, 10, 15 years ago, it was almost like, okay, we need a couple years to turn this whole thing around, rebuild the roster, establish the culture, all this stuff. And now we're seeing coaches come in right away and make a vast difference. So I just think that the bar is set so high right now, and I think Liam Coen and company understand this, where it's like, hey, you don't really get 3 years to turn this whole thing around. It's the NFL, and you play in a division that, next to Tennessee and Indianapolis, you probably do really well. I mean, Houston's really the only competitive team right now, at least on paper. So I just think that the landscape the past couple years has shown that even though you're a new coach and maybe you're a first-time coach and everything like that, that's not as big as an excuse as it used to be, because you can turn it around and make a difference right away.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, let's do this. Take a time out. 43 minutes in. We like it. Push it out further and further. We've got Shock Your Mock. We've got Mugshot Mondays in the next hour or so. We've got a lot more Liam Coen. What else did he say today? And, again, we're down here at the NFL owners' meetings catching up with the Jaguars head coach. And a week from today, they're in the building. Their off-season conditioning program starts a week from today. More Trevor talk still on the way as well, and what he had to say about number 16. From the owners' meetings in Palm Beach on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. It's the Brent and Austin Show on a Monday. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, Nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
2024 provided plenty of memorable moments for the Jacksonville Armada on the pitch, including another conference championship game appearance for Tommy Krasanovich's under-23 men's team. Debuting this year for the first time, the girls in blue, as the Armada fielded a women's under-23 side in the WPSL and made its presence known with some highlight moments.
Potential goal of the season!
Then attention turned to the future, with MLS Next teams representing the Armada badge in 3 age divisions this fall, including an under-19 squad ranking among the best in the state. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
Welcome Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
What do we have here? Oh, that is the mech. Okay, I like this. There we go. That shot looks a little more familiar. A little drone video of Miller Electric Center as the Jaguars will be back. Well, not necessarily out there. You got to remember, there's a timetable to get in there and then get out on the field. There's a process to get to OTAs and minicamp and the rest. But hey, it's about that time. The next few months with the Jacksonville Jaguars, as then there'll be a summer break, and then it's the season. I mean, we're moving along here, folks. It's the final day of March, and we're down here in Palm Beach at the owners' meetings. Brent Martineau along with Austen Lane back in the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network studios, bopping to something. It's not the Shock Your Mock song.
Oh no, man! You know me. Sometimes I just bop by myself, man. You know what it is.
Yeah, I like it. By the way, fantastic interview with Coach Driscoll on Friday.
Thank you. I almost cried.
Yeah, I saw that, which is cool. Me too. While I was driving, and it was just good stuff. It was just good stuff overall. And I know Chaz Lanier and the Tennessee Vols lost yesterday, but folks, if you want a little bit of education on the landscape of today's college basketball, that hour was just really good behind-the-scenes stories and everything else. So you can always find it back on our YouTube channel, of course, at Action Sports Jax. It lives there and even on Twitter. And it was from about
and the podcast app, Brent.
So about a half hour. Oh, and the podcast. Very good, Hamby. Nice job. That's right. Just go listen to the podcast wherever you find your podcasts. It goes up every day at 1:30, thanks to Jason Hamby, and then you can listen while you're working out at the gym, going for a walk, or, in your car on the drive home. See? You got that as well. And that means you could also listen to, the first hour of the show, which included a one-on-one interview with Liam Coen. Now, you might not want, if you listen to the first 15, 16 minutes of the show, you'll hear it twice. Apparently, there was a little bit of an echo, so apologies for that. But we got that part figured out, and now we're rocking and rolling for the owners' meetings on a Monday here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. All right, Hamby, let's do this and get to some of the sound from Liam Coen. And I want to really get his thoughts on Trevor first, right? Let's go Trevor Lawrence here and just dive right into it. We got a lot to get to here on a Monday. And here's now this is the media roundtable. This is where all the AFC coaches meet with the media. So there's a bunch of people in the room. Some of the media is not from Jacksonville. In fact, there's only 3 media outlets here from Jacksonville. Shame on everybody else. With
the Kendrick beef.
And, you had some folks that covered the Bucs and the Rams. And so there's a variety of questions to Liam Coen. But obviously one of the biggest ones, Trevor, you almost forget that he was banged up coming out of the season, had that surgery. So let's check in on Trevor, and here's the latest.
I've had some really good conversations, and not being able to work with him quite yet. But, we went out to dinner a few times, and I saw the vision. Talk to a guy that I know right off the bat is physically and mentally tough. I believe that about him. And so that's how I'm excited to work with him about it. He's open. He just wants to play at the highest level as he can. He wants to accept as much coaching. He wants to be coached hard. And he wants to do well. So those are the great conversations, that he's open, he wants to work, and he's been willing to work. Really excited about those going forward. Mellow in a good way, though. You feel a sense of urgency from him without it sounding like a panic. He knows, he's confident, man. He loves to play. He doesn't want to be hurt. He doesn't want to be not in the game. That means a lot to him. And so when you start there and that's the floor of the conversations, man, you feel so good about where it's going to go because it's honest. You can feel it from him. So he's hungry, though. I would say that for sure. He's putting in time right now on his own without any sort of, he's doing it on his own, maybe twice a day right now, doing stuff to help him get better. I think the fans should know, that's this guy's work ethic. That's the way he does things.
How is his health right now?
Yeah, man, he's getting better. He's throwing a little bit, and he'll be able to get going in the spring and be able to throw a little bit more. But, man, he's getting better and better each day.
Well, there you go. You saw it all right there, Austin. I don't know what caught your attention, but keep in mind, it was a non-throwing shoulder injury. So throwing, I guess, to see him back doing that, it's a good sign, number one, but also shouldn't be too surprising. It's not like it's coming off a throwing shoulder. So it doesn't sound like he'll miss a lot of reps time, all this other stuff. And right now it's really mental probably anyway. It's trying to kind of get this offense into his own mind, kind of own the offense, get on the same page as Liam Coen. But anything catch you about the update from Trevor Lawrence or from Liam Coen on Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just kind of reassuring what we already know. Obviously, the dude's a competitor. The dude has the mentality to be a great quarterback. And that's all we have to really go off of, just because you can't throw the football yet. You can't practice. You can't even really get on the board. So I just think and it's not a bad thing. I just think that Liam Coen reaffirmed kind of what we already know, or what we think that we know about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think you're right. I thought it was interesting that he pointed out how much he's in the building, right? Almost like you got to – he said it. He's like, I think the fans should know, like, man, he's getting after it, right? And to me, then that was either before or after he said, yeah, he's hungry. And I kind of phrased the question to him, like, does he seem frustrated with the first 4 years, right? Does he feel – hungry because of the injuries, what's his mentality since he spent some time around him now? And that's what he was describing there. So he said he's hungry, but also, I mean, it's real that he's getting back in there rehabbing. I wonder how much stronger he's trying to get, Austin. Last year I think he was the heaviest he'd ever been. I want to say he got to like 227 pounds, but he still got hurt a couple of times. So I wonder if he's even trying to bulk up a little bit more, or is this mostly just rehab? I think we'll get an idea about that, of course, when we hear from Trevor probably sometime next week.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, like, I don't think – I mean, Trevor Lawrence could have been 275 pounds. Like, the way that he got hit in the helmet, like, that wouldn't have made a difference. I just think, like, that was – like, that shot would have happened regardless of the weight. So as long as Trevor Lawrence is comfortable, at a playing weight, if he wants to put on some more muscle, so be it. But, sometimes we see when you put on too much muscle, and this is more from different positions, but, it can be kind of a hampering effect on you a little bit, just because it's hard to put on 15 pounds of new muscle and be, hey, just go do what you did before. I mean, it takes time to adjust and everything, especially from a quarterback position, which isn't so much about strength and speed, but it's more about, being fluid and being agile and being mobile. So as long as Trevor Lawrence still has that arm, that's all that matters, I think.
Let me ask you this, Austin. Do you think Trevor's going to have a big year?
Do I think Trevor's going to have a big year? I mean, define big year. Like the best year of his career, a Pro Bowl.
Yes.
Like what are we talking about?
Best year of his career.
Best year of his career. I have to see his numbers again. I think it's going to be close. Yes.
His best numbers are like 25-8. By the way, that would be the best season in 2022.
Okay.
So again, like I'm not trying to dramatize this and get everybody like sunshine and rainbows and everything. I'm just saying, I mean, that's not that crazy to say 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and shoot if it was 10 picks, right? Or 3-1 again in touchdowns to interceptions. I guess that's, keep in mind, I think when he threw 25-8, fumbles were still a little bit of an issue. I don't think they were a major issue, but still a bit of an issue. So there were some more turnovers mixed in there. And maybe it's just the way it looks. Like he looked awesome in the second half of 2022. That's the best he's played in his career. That was when they were making their run. But now can you get that from a week in, week out? Do we know, here's the question for me, do we know every time he walks out there on a Sunday we're getting this version of Trevor? Because you certainly feel that when you're talking about Josh Allen and obviously a Mahomes and everybody else. You're surprised if it doesn't look a certain way. And I'm not even saying it has to look at their best the way they look, but can we get like, hey, we know this guy's going to go throw 2 touchdowns and an interception. It's not going to be a 2-touchdown, 3-interception type of day. You know what I mean?
No, without a doubt. And that's what we, hopefully going forward is that, he has a pretty safe floor. Right, because it's almost like the tale of two quarterbacks. We talk about Trevor Lawrence, right? Like there's those throws that he makes sometimes where he has that game where it's like, yep, this is the prince that was promised. This was where all the hype came from. And then, then there's another game where it's like, ooh, what was that? That was a bad throw and everything. Now, keep in mind, these past couple years, they've been coupled with a lot of drop balls, and just not everything falls on Trevor Lawrence. But, like, to me more than anything, Brent, I hope this season with Liam Coen, like, yeah, obviously you're going to get talent in there, and I'm sure they're going to address the wide receiver as well, so he's going to have plenty of weapons. You're going to have a run game, but, like, I just hope the shoot yourself in the foot kind of plays go to the wayside, right? Where it is the drop balls, where it is the penalties, right? Where it is like these momentum killers that can kill any kind of quarterback's confidence, right? Like, I hope those things go away first. Like, I think more than anything, that's what needs to happen first. And that needs to be the focus on Liam Coen and his team. It's like, let's get rid of these penalties and let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Let's catch the football and everything. And then from there, okay, schematically, let's help our quarterback out.
I think you're speaking to maybe his introductory news conference or whatever else, but let's learn not how to win games, but how not to lose games, right? In that
Correct.
sense. And that's exactly what you're speaking to. And you've been begging for them to learn how to lose for quite some time.
It's going to be a T-shirt one day.
Kind of context. Yeah, that's right. But, hey, here, I'll give you this simply on Trevor. I'm going to give you the highest totals that he has in his career, or what would be the best stats. I'm going to just go a tick above what would be the best stats of his career. If he can do this in 2025, 67% completion ratio, that would be the best. 4,200 yards would be the best. 26 touchdowns would be the best. 7 interceptions would be the best. And then a passer rating of 95.2 is what he has to top. I mean, we're not asking a guy to go win the MVP, right? I mean, you're asking him to get that next best thing, which would be a tick up in every category, a tick down in interceptions, of course, and probably fumbles too, so turnovers in totality. And, of course, now coming off the last 2 seasons, part of the conversation would be stay healthy and play all 17 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the most important part, right? And whether that's, reestablishing the offensive line, getting new players in there, breeding competition, whatever the case may be. But that is the most important part, is keeping Trevor Lawrence healthy. And listen, I think, and it's nothing against Trevor, but let's be honest, the bar is pretty low for him right now to exceed expectations of what he had that one, standout year. So while I do think he can do it, and I'm kind of matching the chat's energy here, but I agree with the chat, like, I got to see it to believe it, right? Like, I've done are the days where I'm going to overhype anything and be like, all right, yeah, like this is the year that, everything just feels different, because we've been down that road a couple of times and it came back to bite me in the you-know-what. So I'm just going to, hope for the best, have some wishful thinking, but I think I speak for a lot of people here when you actually got to see it to believe it first.
Yeah, listen, and that's okay. And I know YB400 say, I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid, but hey, the only thing being served right now is Kool-Aid. Like, we're in that time of year, man. Like, that's all we got. So I think, but I do sense that, and I think that is true, right? I think the entire fan base is that. I think the building to some degree is that. They got to be the ones to prove it. And that's why I always appreciate about Trevor and some of the guys that have been around the past, like Kirk and Ingram. They would even say that. It's like, we got to go do it. We got to give these fans something, right? So I think they understand it too, but it is the offseason, folks. I mean, this is what we got right now. We got a lot of words until we see something out on the field, and so that's what we're reacting to. Speaking of reacting, let's try to go, at least we got a bunch more time to get to these, but I'm going to go a couple of these, Hamby, in a row. And as it equates to their offense, Hainsey is a guy that they brought in as a center, of course. And this is a guy that didn't really play last year. And I think you've heard a lot about from Gladstone and maybe even a little bit of Coen. Actually, you haven't heard from Coen on Hainsey, other than what I just played in the one-on-one interview. But he goes a little deeper on the center here, and this is what he had to say about the new acquisition and what looks to be the starting center of the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2025.
They had struggled to run the football for a few years, right? And he had been the center of that, and that was not something he was just like, ecstatic about, right? He took that personal. He was really one of the voices in that room that I thought stood out all the way through and consistent as a leader and as somebody that does things the right way, communicates at a high level, and when he does get on the field, plays his ass off. and that's what he's done. So, and obviously worked with Robert for the last year, really feel strongly about his leadership, the communication, and when he played for us this year against the Saints, you go and watch that tape, and you could see he was playing to prove it, right? He was playing to say, man, this is who I am. This is how I play. It didn't work out for him this year. Ends up, Graham Barton wins the job and plays, but how he mentored that situation and that relationship while also communicating to the rest of the offense, that was really why we ended up wanting to go to do that.
Austin, I'm not going to jump. I mean, that is what it is, right? But we're going to get to a Jordan Lewis part of this, or maybe I already asked. You did. In the one-on-one, you heard that the Jordan Lewis, the edge this team needs. I think Hainsey brings a little of that. From what I understand, he's got the nasty. He's got some nasty. And I think it kind of says a lot that although he didn't coach him as a starter, he still thought highly enough of him to be this valuable to this franchise in year one of being the head coach in Jacksonville. So I think that kind of says a little something. And I don't know. I don't want to over-dramatize it like Hainsey's going to be a Pro Bowler. I just think when he says he plays his ass off, when you're looking for a little edge from this football team, I think you got a little bit of that. You want a little bit of nasty up front, and I think we've been begging for a little bit of nasty on this football team now for a little over a year.
No, without a doubt. That has to be your calling card. If you want to run the football, if you want to be a physical team, you have to be a little nasty, right? And obviously when you talk about Mitch Morse retiring and walking away, and Mitch Morse was one of the lone bright spots I felt like on that offense last season. He did his job. We didn't really talk about him a lot, which meant, hey, he must have did your job pretty well. He had to be replaced. So I do feel comfortable because Liam Coen wouldn't bring in a center if he didn't trust him, if he didn't think that he was going to be fit for the job, right? And even though he didn't play last year a little bit because, depth purposes and everything, if he still has that demeanor, if he still has that attitude like, hey, we can win with this guy here in Jacksonville, then that's something that I'll trust, Liam Coen with. Like, yeah, we just got done saying, I'm going to have to see it to believe it. Well, I'm going to trust in Liam Cohen's judgment, who's been around this guy a lot, to say, you know what? It may not work out in Tampa Bay for you, but I'm going to bring you to Jacksonville, work with my new quarterback, and we'll be all good.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of kind of how players are acquired a little bit later when we talk to Jordan Lewis. He went a little deeper into that when asked about it. I also think we'll get back to the quarterback part of relationships and what he has to say about Baker Mayfield and that relationship. But let's finish up, at least for now, with Liam Coen conversation and what he had to say a little bit more on the offense. He says a phrase here called the illusion of complexity. And he's talked a lot, at least we've asked him a lot, and he's talked a lot already in the last couple of months about, hey, he goes back to his dad, and he's drawn plays on the board at 4 and 5 years old, and the wing tee and all these other things. He goes a little bit deeper into at least his philosophy on offense here, which might have some details of complexity, even in the calls for coaches and players and everything else, but he uses the word illusion, which I kind of liked. Listen to him describe it.
When you watch that growing up and you see the usage of it, I was impressed by the misdirection of the wing tee and how everything looked the same but ended up different. And then I get to the Rams and I hear the exact word of the illusion of complexity. Hey, same plays, but we're making them just look different. So it was already in my mind from what I saw growing up. And so then you're able to apply it a little bit, and especially at the college level, you've got to be able to adjust to the players, right? To both their capacity and what they can handle physically. And then obviously in LA in 22, we lose every O lineman and have a million injuries, and we still had to compete, guys. I know we didn't win, but we still had to compete. And so that was a fun experience, although not the best year of my life.
He acknowledged that. A lot of Rams references and Tampa references that we might hear some stories a little bit later that you haven't heard before. So there's a lot more to get to on Liam Coen. But I kind of like that, Austin, all these different things we can put on a shirt and hat, illusion of complexity. And I was talking to Liam a little bit just off camera about how tricky his offense is. And, He was kind of in between. It was interesting how he was describing it. It's like it's not like crazy long calls. He tries to make the communication easier, but it's not simple either. So it was interesting to kind of hear him describe that. It'll be interesting to see how the players are able to adapt to it. And I think it's an important note as he put together his staff and brings in a guy like Hainsey. That familiarity can certainly speed up that process, because it's not just for Trevor. It's about for the guys who are coaching it to the players, but also to the players. And everybody learns at a different pace, as you know, Austin.
So the illusion of complexity speaks two things to me when I first heard that, and then when I heard him speak on it a little bit. I think when we talk about the goals of an offense and what you try to bring to the table, it's almost like you're trying to do the same thing, and you're almost trying to put a defense in a lull, right? Like you see this in fighting all the time, where you just kind of throw a jab or throw a feint, and you're trying to get your opponent to say, okay, we're getting comfortable, we know what they do. And then with all of a sudden, with no rhyme or reason, you change up the script, you add a wrinkle off that, and now all of a sudden, being so ingrained in what you're trying to do, the defense makes a mistake because you do something else. And that, to me, is what the goal is going to be of a Liam Coen offense. Now, I think the illusion of complexity also speaks on behalf of the offense in general in terms of learning the system. I think there's offenses out there that I played against, the Texans being one of them back in the day, where you would watch the film and it'd be like, man, they have like 100 different plays, it looks like, 100 different motions. But then when you actually break it down, okay, well, maybe, you change up one word in the call that's talking to one person, but everybody else has the same job, right? So it's almost like it's appearing that, hey, we're a very complex system. We're a very complicated offense. You probably thought that we spent the entire training camp just in a locked room trying to memorize all this stuff, when that's not the case at all. So I think the illusion of complexity also speaks to in terms of how this offensive, staff and these players are going to digest this information, because on film it's going to look, man, they must have had to spend a lot of time learning this stuff, and maybe they do to an extent, but I think it's going to be a lot easier than people will give them credit for.
And YB400 says an interesting thing right here, coming off what you just said, Austin. Seems like the system is, I may look dumb, but the system isn't dumb. So, that's an interesting way to do that.
That's very eloquently put. I like it.
Yeah, fooling people is a big thing. Hey, I got 3 thoughts on all this. One, real quick, elite communication is what we hear about Coen and about Gladstone. Now, this is really a Coen part, right? Gladstone's not going to coach the offense, come up with the plays. Elite communication means make a communication easier for the person you're communicating with as well. It's not just you being able to spout something. It's the ability for you to be able to say something and the person to be able to listen to it, hear it, digest it, and everything else. People forget that part of communication, right? You can't only control so much in that, but you can make it easier for somebody else to consume what you're saying. The other part of this is this puts a lot on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, of course, he's the quarterback. He's getting paid $275 million in this contract. There should be a lot on Trevor Lawrence, but he's going to have to own it. He's going to have to learn it. He's going to know it. And I would say this, even in 21, although Urban really messed a lot of that stuff up with consistency, I think the Doug offense, I really felt like Trevor knew the offense. In 21, I remember him moving around Travis Etienne like, okay, you got to get over here, dude. Just simple things like that. And then I thought he really took to the offense and knew the offense pretty quickly with Doug Peterson. They obviously learned some things and elevated him to what he had been doing. And this is not your college scheme. It's not as simple as that, absolutely. My point is, he can handle it. I think he can handle this. This is not a question of that at all, from everything I've been told as well. So don't worry about that part of it. He's just got to get to work on it if he isn't already. And then part 3 of what you just explained and what we're talking about, this illusion of complexity, doesn't it kind of go back to that whole Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown thing for you? Isn't that what he's talking about? I need the chess pieces as well to make sure we can have everything in place to be able to showcase that. And Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be the centerpiece, potentially, of that illusion.
Of course, man. I guess the illusion of complexity sounds a lot better than the illusion of being a decoy.
It does. It does. It does sound a little bit better than that. All right. Hey, let's do this. You got ready for a Shock Your Mock? When we take a break, we'll come back, do a little Shock Your Mock on a Monday. We got Mugshot Monday still ahead. And then much of the 12 o'clock hour, we got an article written by Daniel Griffiths on Foye Oluwakin, and we'll get back to some other things that Liam Coen was said. I think we'll get to a lot of it today, or most of it today. We can carry some of it over to tomorrow. I also had a chance to ask D'Amico Ryans about Christian Kirk and about the AFC South in general, because you got a lot of offensive guys in the AFC South. Houston's the king of the division. He's a defensive guy. So it was an interesting conversation with D'Amico Ryans for a couple of minutes. We'll have all that still on the table here on a Monday on the Brent and Austin Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Don't forget our partnership with Jax Pal as well. Go to jaxpal.org and the Jacksonville Police Athletic League. And how about the Jumbo Shrimp? They won the series over the weekend in Nashville, and they come back home for the home opener on Tuesday. You can check out our Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp show on actionsportsjacks.com. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jags Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Right now, you can take 10% off any water heater. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
I'm Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber. Join me and the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation for Jacksonville Takes Steps at Memorial Park on April 12th. This event is dedicated to finding cures and raising awareness for digestive diseases. Register now at actionnewsjacks.com.
The Jacksonville Sharks are your champions.
It's one of the hot spots in the area.
Welcome you to String Sports Brewery out at the beach. Big crowd on hand tonight. The fans are here.
And now, the newest hot spot at the beach is open. String Sports Brewery in Jax Beach has opened its doors with rave reviews.
We're going to be fans forever.
Cozy up to the bar. Grab a seat in the sports-themed restaurant. Or grab a seat outside and feel that breeze coming off the beach as the weather warms. Just like the original location in Springfield, try the popular beer menu and come for lunch or dinner too, because the food is fantastic.
We got a special guest in the house. He's happy. He's feeling good. He's Trayvon Walker.
It's where we hosted Jags Report Live in the football season, and the String Sports Brewery staff can't wait to host you. Hey, welcome back here to String Sports Brewery. And if you haven't checked out the new location in Jax Beach, you got to do it. String Sports Brewery, now with 2 locations in Springfield and now open in Jax Beach on Penman Road.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
They're the Florida Gators as they celebrate a trip to the Final Four. And did I see this a 5th one or 6th one in school history? I think it's 5th one.
This is 6.
6? Okay, 6. I got a question, I think, if they win it. I want you guys to think about this for next week. If they win it again, that would be, 3 national championships. They had the back-to-back, and then they got this one. In football, they won 3 national championships. Is this a fair question, Austin, to ask about Florida?
Uh-oh.
Are they more of a football school or a basketball school from a championship pedigree point of view?
My dad was watching last night or the Saturday night, and he was like, "Man," he texted me, "Hey, this is a football or this is a basketball school." 100%. We don't even got to worry about them in football anymore.
I think it's always going to be a football school first and a basketball school second, just because I feel like with the players that have come through that program, with what you've been able to accomplish of winning national championships as well, playing in the SEC, I just feel like, it just means more when we talk about football than it does basketball.
Yeah, and again, I think they got to win it first to even have this conversation. And I probably phrase it poorly. I know football's king in the South, right? I mean, I get it. I understand that. I guess, have they had a better football program or a better basketball program? Maybe that's the better way to say it over time. And I think you start adding up the numbers and the back-to-back national championships, I think I wonder if it start getting closer. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, I think it's in the realm to talk about it and debate, but yeah, I just think how many basketball statues are outside their basketball arena? I just think it'll always be I think it'll always be a football school first. And speaking of Florida, Hamby, do you want to just give me the money that you owe my son for betting against him, or do you want to Venmo him? Because he doesn't have Venmo, but you owe Ronan some money because you guys had a bet that if Tennessee would go farther than Florida, and obviously that wasn't the case.
Yeah, just send me the young man's Venmo.
Okay, sounds good, man. We'll get that taken care of. Sorry about it. Sorry about that.
He already has Venmo, huh?
No, but I'll get him all set up. I'll get him all set up. Don't worry.
Hey, how pissed is Stuart right now that you're even asking that question?
So what?
No, actually, Stuart was showing me. He's like, we're a track and field school. He gave me all the championships in track and field.
Now we're talking.
but listen, Hamby's Murder says, I think USAD is on fire. What's fascinating about Florida is that hasn't been the case. I think last year in October, they were ready to fire Scott Strickland along with Napier. And Napier turning that season around has changed about everything. Softball and baseball are good. Well, softball's really good. Baseball's struggling in the SEC right now. I don't know how good they are but they have done a great job with the program, for sure. But now all of a sudden you look, I think Florida has a lot of momentum. They've got what their basketball team's doing. Their baseball team should always be good, softball, whatever. But I'm talking about really football-wise, it feels like they've got momentum with the coach and the quarterback and the recruiting. And So I actually feel like they've really flipped this. We'll see what they do on the field. They've got another tough schedule coming up this fall. So I'm not ready to have the conversation yet. If they win it all next Monday, though, I think it's a fascinating conversation at where they are in terms of the basketball versus football stuff in the history of their school. I think is kind of just an interesting conversation. It is a football school because it's a football part of the country for sure. All right, hey, Shock Your Mock presented by Everbank is here. It's day 4. It's a Monday edition. Austen Lane, what do we have, man? Or Jason Hamby, tell me what we've got as we get set for another rendition of Shock Your Mock.
We've got a banger.
I see Shock.
Coach Ripley's in the equation today, along with Jake Scott. So Coach Rip against Jake Scott. Sounds like a country music singer, Jake Scott.
Brent.
Because you guys wouldn't figure it out. Because you guys wouldn't figure it out. Because you guys wouldn't figure it out. Figure it out. Figure it out.
Hey, you need to get off Kirk Cousins. And being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
9. Cannot sleep on Kirk. Sleep on Kirk. Sleep on Kirk.
Figure it out.
Even for the internet, it's pretty shocking.
Mel, talk to me.
He's got a huge trunk, though.
Figure it
He's got a huge trunk, though.
Figure it out.
He's got a huge trunk, though.
Duval.
I feel shocked.
Jack Grid.
I feel shocked.
Jack Grid.
I feel shocked.
Duval.
With that, game on.
Austin, if you don't mind me introing this, we have Coach Ripley on the top with 30 picks and an additional pick for next year. And we have Jake Scott, the first mock that we're doing that has Travis Hunter taking at number 5. So we already know Brent is taking that one. Go ahead.
Okay, so, I mean, first of all, Brent wanted me to keep this within 30 minutes. I don't know how you expect me to keep it within 30 minutes when you send me a mock draft that has 30 draft picks in it. But nevertheless, I take my job very seriously, and I will shock accordingly. But I'm not going to lie. I started this journey last night at 7 p.m., finished around 8:15, and said, you know what? I'm just going to milk the last, 10 picks in because this is stupid. But with all due respect, Coach Ripley, let's get into it. So pick, and by the way, I'm not sure what all went in the trades and everything. Don't care. All right, so pick number 8, we traded back a little bit and got 25 more picks. We got Tet McMillan, 6'4", 219, ran a 4.48, supposedly, at his pro day. NFL comparison is Drake London. We've talked about him before a little bit. This guy's a possession receiver with size and ball skills. Source says that he got hurt in the spring. Not sure if he ever made it back to 100% this last season. Guys, thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think we're going to get a lot Tech McMillan. I believe it's starting to get some momentum, Austin, that McMillan, if he were to be picked, would be a trade down and then get him later. That's where I'm starting to feel, at least. I don't know if that's true. I'm just feeling that way.
Okay. Hamby, any thoughts?
I love trading back and still getting that same value. I'm in so far.
Okay, we're in so far. Do you like 25 draft picks? Pick number 50. Brent, go ahead and tell us this one.
That's Jonah Savanaya.
Brent, you want to give that one a try? Because Hamby kind of stumbled out of the blocks a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He definitely stumbled.
Hey, he was so confident, too. He goes hit.
I hit it last time.
That's John Swananai. Yeah. Brent, what do you got?
Jonah Savanaya.
Okay. I like that one, but Brent sounded a little more confident. Advantage Brent Martineau.
Yeah.
I guess so I guess according to Coach Ripley, we're going back-to-back Arizona picks, which makes a lot of sense because, I don't know, they went, 4-8 this last season? So let's go ahead and bring in those Wildcats, man, and turn this culture around. When we talk about Jonah, whatever his last name is, 6'4", 324, big dude, ran a 4.95, pretty impressive. He played right guard, but can play a lot of different positions. But he needs to find his frame, Brent, and he needs to find an anchor. He is a boat right now in the ocean that is just kind of drifting off. with no rhyme or reason sometimes if you read down the breakdown. So this guy needs to develop more of a bulk in the lower body a little bit. Do I dare say get himself a bigger trunk? Maybe get him like that Chevy Impala from the 70s kind of trunk, because right now he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I just know I've got plenty of things to anchor right now in this football season. I got to get in better shape. I don't know about Jonah. He needs more of one, apparently.
Yep. So then we're going pick 57, defensive tackle out of Kentucky. Let's go with Deontay Walker, 6'7", 331 pounds, 34 1/4 arms, and 10 5/8 hands. Big dude. 5th in production score, according to all the metrics of college football this past season. 25 on the vertical. Yeah. 8'8" on the broad jump. NFL comparison is Jordan Phillips. Defensive lineman with rare traits. He is tight-hipped and upright, though. But keep in mind, Brent, according to one scout, he pries open pathways to get to the pocket with dining proper arm extension. I'll say it again. Pries open pathways to pocket when dining proper arm extension. I don't know, man. Take it for how you want. Scouts have also said, too, that his motor in the past has gassed out, so he needs more consistent grit.
He's like my weed whacker that I've been through a lot at home, right? Like, he gassed out.
He gassed out a little bit.
Hey, man, if you have so many picks.
Pathways is a new one.
If you have so many picks that Brent has to bring out the glasses just to see all of them, because they're small, and I had to squeeze
bringing
it to fit
out
on
those
the screen.
Peterson glasses
too many
right
picks.
now. I think we know who's calling the plays, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Listen, hey, I got to get my scouting glasses on for this. This is important.
Are these new, Brent, or have you always had these?
Over the last year, I've been using them more and more.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, Father Time's undefeated, that's for sure. All right, pick number 70. We're going to Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State, 6'4", 214, ran a 4.47 because which wide receiver doesn't these days? 39-inch vertical, 10.8 on the broad jump. A lot to like about this guy. He's a big receiver with modest athletic attributes, but great ball skills. He did come from Eastern Kentucky, so take that for how you want. Giant red flag for me being a Murray State alum, but maybe for some other people, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the fighting Colonel Sanders's. Plural. You can put him in the slot as well, Brent. Even though he's 6'4", and a big body receiver, he has some attributes to play in the slot, and he's got a wingspan over 6'7". He does have, though, a below second gear average, but once again, I feel like if you're going to run a 4.4, you just need one gear and you're good to go.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here is what Coach Ripley went with a big receiver in McMillan, then comes back with another pretty big receiver in Higgins here. But I do like that wingspan. That reminds me of Justin Blackman when you talk about wingspan and the radius and the catch radius and all those things.
That does seem like crazy good value at 70.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that, man. I mean, listen, I'm a sucker for tall wide receivers that can run a 4.4, let's be honest. And you pair him with Brian Thomas Jr., what is that going to look like? And especially if this guy can play in the slot as well. Whew! Be still my beating heart. All right, pick number 82. Going back to the SEC, we said, okay, Arizona, we're all set. You guys won 4 games last year. Now let's get some more, blue chip players from a blue chip conference. Pick number 82. We're going Kyle Kennard, edge out of
South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. Sorry, I couldn't read that for a second. South Carolina, 6'4", 254, 34-inch arms, 9 3/4 hands. Dude is also wearing a black beanie in his combine picture, so he's got the black beanie perk as well, which you like to see. Might have that dog in him, Brent, or might be going bald. We're not sure. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so he ran a 4.73, 23 reps on the bench. NFL comparison is DJ Wanham. He's a long frame with room to add additional mass. Hear that, all the fast food chains out there? Hear that, Whataburger? Kyle Kennard might be in business. High-end production in his only season in an SEC school, but he's too easily knocked off balance, and some scout says that production looks great, but there are many times where he gets too bullied for my liking.
I'm a huge fan of this one right here.
Kennard, was that this Clay coach, Weber? Was his name Kyle Kennard? Kyle Kennard, he was Clay High School football coach, just stepped down this year. I mean, and he's already ready for the draft. It's amazing. I already knew that name. I do like this, guys.
Nice
I like
joke,
edge.
Brent.
Edge. We haven't seen a lot of edge early in drafts so far in these mocks. Hello. The Jags don't have a lot of depth there, so I like that part.
Hamby, you said that you're going to give him the Kirk Cousins seal of approval. You actually like this guy?
I'm a big fan of this guy. I think he had, 12 sacks last year, and I think he had more tackles for loss than he did sacks, so he's constantly in the backfield, and he's played a lot of football at 82, finally getting somebody behind Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon. That's a stellar pick, in my opinion.
And plus, he is wearing the beanie hat, too, in the combine picture.
Could use that.
A lot to like, man. Might have that dog in him, confirmed. All right, pick number 126. We're going to Logan Brown out of Kansas. 6'6", 311, 33 and 7/8 inch arms. Just call it 34 inches. 10-inch hands. Let's see. He ran a 5.18 at the 40. A guy actually ran the 40-yard dash at the combine. 32-inch vertical, 9.3 in the broad jump, 26 in the bench press. Dude did the whole combine. Like, this is a rarity now, I feel like, with players. He is a former Wisconsin Badger, but was dismissed for an internal incident. Didn't really know what the internal incident was. Former five-star recruit with good size and length. Lands with pop on contact when pulling or climbing. Can do it both. Guy can pull, got the triceps, and guy can climb. He's got like the rotators and what do you call these muscles down here. Only has one season as a starter, has a very bad habit of oversetting, and needs to work on his fundamentals a little more.
Austin, this could be a skip pick right here. We got a little bit of babysitting, maybe, because he got dismissed from the team. We need a couple of those guys. Skip hasn't been busy enough lately the last couple of years. Might need a little Logan Brown here.
Hey,
Austin, Brent, just because we need a little bit of a dog doesn't mean we need to have one of our players or draft picks needs to be on the next edition of Mugshot Monday.
Ooh. Better put a wig on him or else I don't want to see him.
Maybe he was just late for practice. Who knows?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I try to look into it a little bit. I'm not sure, but, you know how Wisconsin is, Brent. They're at the forefront in terms of culture setting and like, hey, if you mess up, we'll see you guys later. Take that to the SEC or Kansas and then the Big 12. Next pick, we got...
in the back 40.
Maybe in the back 40 a little bit. I was going to make a joke about another coach from the Jaguars, but no, I'm not even going to say it right now. Pick 142. Do your homework. Yeah, you probably get it. Pick 142. We're going Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State, cornerback. He's 5'10", 191, 30 and 7/8 inch arms. Just call it 31. 9-inch hands. Third in athleticism score metrics according to Next Gen Stats by the NFL. Dude ran a 4.35, a 37.5-inch vertical, a 10.9 on the broad jump, and 12 reps in the NFL and in the bench press. Not sure if that's good or not, but he's playing corner, so who really cares about that stat? NFL comparison is Garrett Williams. Much like Aunt Vicky's potato salad, this guy needs a little more seasoning, according to scouts. That was mine. That wasn't some scout. But he does need more seasoning, a scout said. But he has all the athletic tools and ball skills to be a complete CB3. Scouts say that he has twitching in closing and burst with good internal timing. Run support lacks aggression.
All right. Maybe he's not willing. He's not a willing tackler, but hey, you got to need a little quarterback in there. I think this next guy's interesting, Austin.
Oh, I don't know. What is this, the 13th pick? I mean, I'm going to get some Adderall in here. I'm already losing focus. Pick 149, Howard Cross III out of Notre Dame, defensive tackle, 6'1", 285, 32 and 1/4 inch arms, 10.5 on the hands.
Way undersized.
A little undersized, 29 in the vertical. and 8'8" in the broad jump. He was 21st in terms of athleticism score. Didn't run the 40-yard dash. Didn't run anything else. Didn't do the bench press. I'm sure he had a great pro day because who doesn't? This guy is an undersized, even front nose tackle who is very disruptive, though, for lack of his size. He is very twitchy, and he plays very fast, but obviously it comes down to him being very scheme-dependent and his feast or famine style, where if he's going to be a little undersized, you got to make sure that you use him correctly. He lacks an anchor to stand his ground against leverage in the gap and can be taken for rides if he doesn't gain an early advantage.
Take it for rides like the Action News Jax JTA investigation.
Nice.
Howard Cross. I'll talk about the size. This guy is one of those that just does jobs. He just finds a way. He did it against Georgia, facing some behemoth on our offensive line. So he makes up for it. But I think the 5th round eval is fair.
Okay.
By the way, he's got some pedigree here, too, guys. Howard Cross Jr., his daddy, played at Alabama, also played in the league for 13 years. You might remember him. I think won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants back in the day. He played tight end, so it's interesting that Howard Cross III playing on the defensive side of the ball.
Brent, I'm not going to remember any tight ends unless their name are Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, Travis Kelce, or Sam Laporta. Sorry.
Wow, Howard Cross was a good one now.
I already forgot that guy that dropped the ball for the Ravens this past year. What was his name?
Oh,
Mark Andrews, something like that. Okay, we're going. Hey, it was a rough one. We're going pick number 174, offensive tackle from just change the entire offensive line around. Sorry, Walker Little. We'll see ya. Anton Harrison. You kind of look promising, but we can't keep you just because we drafted way too many people. Jalen Rivers, offensive tackle, Miami, 6'6", 319, 34 7/8 inch arms. For the love of God, just call it 35 and 10-inch hands. Ran a 5.29 on the 40, a 9-inch in the broad jump, and 23 reps in the bench press. Played in 7 games as a freshman in the reserve role. In his last season was honorable mention All ACC and started 8 games at left tackle, missed 5 midseason due to an injury. This guy actually, much to the chagrin of a lot of scouts, has a natural anchor, which is rare you see in these write-ups. But he's best suited for short spaces, whereas athletic limitations can be mitigated. He has the mass to absorb and swallow defenders near his gap, natural anchor, and plays with strength, force 2 gappers to work, but he has hip stiffness and is limited in his bend, stifles fluidity of movement.
By the way, this guy also played a little guard and also from Orange Park, so a local guy, Coach Ripley, trying to show a little love to Northeast Florida.
Pick 176, this is never ending. Jake Majors, offensive, we can call him a center. Jake Majors, center out of Texas, 6'3", 306, 30 3/8 arms, 9 7/8. In terms of athleticism, he was 6th according to centers, and according to production score, he was 7th. Only thing he did at the combine was the bench press, where he bench pressed 225 25 times. He's short-armed, center prospect. He's sound, he's poised. He's a center. I feel like if you draft a center in the draft, they'll probably work out pretty decently. I don't know what else to say about this guy, Brent. This is pick number 13, right. So I'm losing steam.
He's like the 2nd or 3rd center, so getting him there is plenty good.
Pretty good value there. Okay, what else? You got 2, 4, 6 of them left, plus a pick in 26 that you don't have to diagnose. But 6 of them left. Feel free to skip any if you want.
Yeah, so we'll just say Nick Nash, wide receiver, 6'2.5", out of San Jose State, 203, 31 inch arms, ran a 4.57, 34-inch vertical. Any thoughts about this guys, or not?
I mean, if we're going to take 3 receivers in the draft, where's he going to go?
Also came in as a dual threat quarterback to the University of San Jose State as well. So kind of an athletic freak.
Just going to run the Jameson Williams special?
Maybe, or do you put him at tight end? How big was this guy again? Because maybe it's not even close, 6'2", 203, because it could be a Travis Kelce effect. Travis Kelce was a former tight end at the University of Cincinnati, but we're getting off on a tangent. Jack Kaiser.
Zach Miller.
Zach Miller as well. Good call. Jack Kaiser went to school someplace. I don't know.
Notre Dame.
So, I know, I'm just kidding. Went to school at Versus. 6'2", 231, 30 and 3/8-inch arms, 9-inch hands. This guy is a linebacker. Yeah, can we just keep on going?
Go ahead, Bob.
Tim Smith doesn't sound like a real... Tim Smith doesn't even sound like a real person. Sounds like Coach Ripley just made this guy up. Tim Smith? But okay, went to Alabama.
Smith, he had one of the best Super Bowls ever.
Okay, hey, I tried to Google Tim Smith NFL, and 120 different players popped up. Defensive tackle, 6'4", 302, 33-inch arms, 10 and 3/8 hands. Didn't do anything at the combine. Didn't really, whatever. Take a high for one. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. Joshua Gray, offensive guard, Oregon State. 6'5", 299, 31 and 3/8-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. If you're 6'5" and 299, how unathletic are you that you're playing guard right now? Well, let's look into it. Guy ran a 5.040, a 5.04 40, 31-inch vertical, 8-inch broad jump. Okay. It's not adding up. Why is this guy not playing tackle? Well, let's look into it a little more. Team captain, 5-year starter who can be best described as tough, strong, and reliable. A majority of Gray's nearly 4,000 snaps came at left tackle, but he moved to guard in 2024 and proved he was more than capable. Well, why'd they move him? What are they not telling us here? Weaknesses. Fits up on run blocks with average acceleration and pop. Gets grabby instead of meeting movement with his feet. Inconsistent timing and footwork on combo blocks and double teams. Allow his feet to get too heavy sometimes. And static in pass protection. Forget the JFK documents. I want to know why this guy's not playing tackle anymore. Because nobody's telling me. Oh, Hamby, do you have the details?
Nope. I just wanted to point out that YB400 just commented, gonna be 1 o'clock soon.
Hey, who you telling, man? Luke Lachey from your favorite band, 98 Degrees, decided he's gonna play tight end from Iowa. You got a tight end from Iowa. It's probably gonna be a pretty good pick regardless of where you take him. And then Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, offensive tackle from Florida, stayed a little more local. Way too long of a name. Already got Joshua Hines Allen. Don't need another one. Thanks for playing. Can we go to Jake Scott now, please?
Nope, you forgot the second round pick.
Yeah, don't worry about the second.
Oh,
we're second.
We're gonna retrade him again for C.J. Henderson's coming back to Jacksonville. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, one quick note just for the kids out there. Timmy Smith, not this one, but the Timmy Smith, ironically picked 204. He ran for 204 yards, which was the record, or might still be the record, in the Super Bowl for the Washington Redskins at the time. Crazy enough, do you know he ran for 603 yards in his career, and he ran for 204 yards in the Super Bowl? And Timmy Smith is now 61 years old. That's for the kids out there. Let's move on to Jake Scott.
Brent Martineau with the Tim Kirchen. Nobody asked for those types of stats, but we'll take them anyways. Thank you very much. Dude tells me to keep it 30 minutes. Then dude goes down to Tim Kirchen, ran about 200-something yards rushing, and you got it though, man. Hey, it's your show, Brent. We're just getting paid for it. Pick number 5. We're going Travis Hunter. Hang on, let me go back to my notes here. I shouldn't really need them. 6 feet tall, 188 lbs, 31 and 3/8-inch arms. Shocking, he was first in production score. You don't say. Brent, you may have seen him in the new Dick's Sporting Goods commercial with Tom Brady, some influencer named Speed something, and then a girl who can do a bunch of backflips, which I assume is a gymnast. But this isn't Shock Your Commercial, so I'm not sure who she was. NFL comparison is Devontae Smith or Darius Slay. Take it for how you want. And one scout said that he's more valuable at cornerback and getting a few reps at wide receiver than he is being a full-fledged wide receiver. That's just one scout, though. Your guys' thoughts?
I love the pick of Travis Hunter if they can get him there and if he lands to them. And obviously you learned from Liam Coen today, they see him playing on both sides of the field. Obviously they wouldn't have to narrow that in. But the other thing, I've seen a lot of basketball highlights from Travis Hunter. Man, he is a hell of an athlete, isn't he? And the thing I like most about Hunter, he's lived up to all the hype. So if he continues on that trend, whoever does land him in the NFL, it looks like he will live up to that hype. Hopefully Walter Nolan will as well, Austin.
Nice segue, Brent. Walter Nolan going 6'4", 296, 32.5-inch arms, and part of the Team Beanie Club. This guy is also wearing a black beanie in his combine photo. NFL Comparison is friend of the show, John Franklin Myers. Scout said that he has starting size, but he's not going to blow you away with physical traits. So if you're wearing Scouts as a football player, you're going against him, he's probably not going to knock your socks off, but it's okay. Can play in gaps, but needs better hands. Nolan has a blend of explosiveness and playmaking talent. By the way, sounds like a Christopher Nolan movie. Has explosiveness and playmaking talent, except Dunkirk, which is just an okay movie. Shout out to Interstellar. Shout out to The Prestige. Shout out to, obviously, and my favorite, the best Christopher Nolan movie of all time, which is Inception. On to the next one.
I haven't seen any of them.
What? You never seen Interstellar?
Hamby, real quick, do you think Interstellar is better than Inception?
I think both are absolutely insane.
But don't you think like Inception kind of like started off the whole thing?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. But I mean, also, Brent, the Prestige. Oh, come on.
If we get Walter Nolan at 36, I'll try to do a backflip.
I like that, man. I'm not down. Okay, well, pick number 70 from the University of somewhere. We're going Jared Wilson. Now, Hamby, I know you're chomping at the bit, and I'm going to bring you in a second. Let me just get the stats quick. 6'3", 3'10", 32 and 3/8-inch arms, 10 3/4-inch hands, ran a 4.84, which I feel like is pretty fast for a center. This guy might be the John Ross of centers as far as we're concerned. Had a 32-inch in the vertical. Might be the Vince Carter of centers. And did a 9.4 in the broad jump. Might be the Austen Lane of centers. Jason Hamby, take it away.
Yeah, we've talked about this guy a lot. A little bit undersized. They worry about how he's going to go up against elite nose tackles, that he might be on his back a little bit more than you'd like, but he makes up for it a lot. This guy has great recovery, and like I said before, when this guy's running downfield, he looks for blocks better than most centers you'll see. He's looking to pick up extra work, looking for that overtime pay. This is probably the best center in the draft. Some may argue that 70 is still early for any center, unless they're Nick Mangold 2.0. This guy's not that, but he's going to be solid. He might not be a week one starter right away unless he's developed very well, but it's a good pick.
A 10-minute breakdown on a center. Not even Mel Kiper can do that. Pick number 88. Oh, Brent, you got any thoughts? Sorry, I'm trying to speed this along.
Nope.
Okay.
No, you're doing a great job.
Okay, cool. Pick number 88. We're going to Texas. Gunnar Helm. No, that's not the name of a world's strongest man, even though it sounds like he's from Iceland. Gunnar is actually from Inglewood. No, not Inglewood, California, which would be pretty cool, but he's actually from Inglewood, Colorado. I'm sure still a pretty tough place to live because of the elevation and everything. 6'5", 241. Production score was 4th in athleticism. And, I'm sorry, production score was 4th, and athleticism score was 20th. 4.84 in the 40, 30-inch vertical. NFL Comparison, the legend that is Jake Ferguson. He gets his eyes back to the quarterback as soon as he uncovers. That was an exact write-up from a scout. Say it again. He gets his eyes back to the quarterback as soon as he uncovers. Is he a nude model? What are we talking about? Average body control with wide base fitting for his blocks. Once again, average body control with a wide base, which is fitting for his blocks. Brent, any thoughts? Hamby, any thoughts?
I got this as my second-ranked tight end, only behind Tyler Warren. Other thought, I'm really liking... What?
Why?
Wait a minute. When did Hamby start doing rankings?
Well, I don't have rankings. I just really like this guy, and the thought has crossed my mind multiple times. If we're gonna take a tight end, obviously Warren's not gonna be in play because I don't think he's gonna be in play. So of all others, I would like Gunnar Helm.
Okay.
I don't have no daggum rankings.
Now, keep in mind, athleticism score was 20th overall for the tight ends. So we're not getting an athletic guy. Is that okay with you, Hamby?
Yeah, I like all these pick 2 through 5. I really like the conference that they play in.
Brent,
how about that, Brent?
Brent, you better keep an eye on Hamby because I guess he's doing some kind of draft podcast, like off the books or something.
Not
Pirate Radio. Pick 107.
You should tweet that out.
Hamby's tight end rankings. Pick 107, Kyron Lacy, another SEC guy for Hamby. Didn't go to the combine. Was arrested for negligent homicide. Caused a car crash that killed a 78-year-old man on December 17th. That's all I got to say about it.
I don't know. Probably shouldn't be clapping on that one.
I don't know what you want from me. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, yeah, but it wasn't his fault, though. Oh, Brent's making this sign. Hey, Brent, you can say things. I'm just saying what happened to the guy.
Well, first of all, it's like, okay, we're bringing more bad guys in, or not great guys, or whatever. And then I was like, wait a minute, nope. How is he up this hard? There are going to be major red flags on him, right?
So I think they're waiting to see, because I don't think this has gone to trial yet, obviously. So
this is still under review.
We're waiting to see. But he didn't get the combine invite because of this as well.
He was in jail.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, because here's the deal: you don't hear this much anymore, right? Like you'll have red flags, and some will be character, but a lot of them will be medical. And I think more and more in today's day and age, we've had this discussion, Austin. If you take your NFL Combine from 2010 and you take 2025 now, I would imagine the red flags are more prominent to be injuries now than they are character. I think in 2010 you would have had a lot more character red flags. And my point is, these guys know what's at stake now. The money's so big, everything else, that you don't usually run into this. Now, who was Jalen Carter, right? Obviously, for Georgia, had similar issue, or at least next to his name, dropped a little bit. But Lacy's a different story here, and that's just pretty interesting that Jake would pick him, because I'm not sure the Jags would pick a player in this predicament right now. But in fairness to the player, you also do have to see how this shakes out. When will it shake out, though, is the question.
He was also on the honor roll in 2022, so.
Okay, well, Hamby making his best case to bring an SEC guy, I guess, here. He's on the honor roll. That's all. Hamby, I'm not going to say anything. All right, next pick.
Logan Brown.
No, are we ready for the next pick? Is that what I'm saying?
I'm at 126.
Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, so you got to love the consistency of the pro football and sports network, Brent. Really bring it this year. Maybe they should have cut us some money so we could give this, as prize money to the winner, but whatever. Pick number 126, once again, Logan Brown. Back-to-back questionable guys, I guess, in the locker room, because Logan Brown, as we talked about earlier on, was let go from Wisconsin due to an internal incident. He's 6'6", 3'11", 33 7/8" arms, and 10-inch hands. Like I said, he's a former 5-star recruit with good size and length, lands with pop on contact when pulling or climbing, only has one season at his start, was in Kansas.
All right, this next guy, Austin, people love R.J. Harvey from UCF as a possible landing spot here in Jacksonville.
5'8", 205, 29-inch arms, 4'4", 30-inch vertical, 10'7", in the broad jump, and then 16 reps in the bench press. They say that he's a blue-collar back with a compact frame and his willingness to get his nose dirty in each snap. He is the Tony Montana of running backs, it sounds like. Lacks creativity and burst, but adds yards after context with context balance, lower body strength. Said context twice in this breakdown. It is what it is. Hamby, tell us about him.
Yeah, this guy averaged, it seemed like 3 touchdowns a game on the most putrid passing offense in all of Power 4 football under Gus Malzahn. It doesn't matter whether it was 3rd and 8 when we were down 21 in the fourth quarter. We were running the football, and he was still making things happen. I have him. You want a ranking? I got him as the 5th best running back in this class. And so we're getting him in the 5th round. I'm a big fan. You got to get a night once and for all.
Just out of curiosity, where is Kirk Cousins this year in your quarterback rankings?
Well, we got to do that thing again before too long.
Oh, I guess we do, don't we? Go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
Austin, by the way, I just want to let you know you're doing a heck of a job keeping this moving until Mel Kiper Jr. started to jump in with his rankings. Mel Kiper
Jr. Got him. Oh, that's going to be a button. Yeah. crying, Brent. Pick number 182, Jack Nelson. You may recognize the name because he is one of the bad guys from Peaky Blinders, but that's not him. This guy's actually from Wisconsin. Grew up in Stoughton, Wisconsin. Still a bad guy, just not with the Peaky Blinders. He comes from the Badgers Dairy Raid offense. Change it. 6'7", 314, 33 1/3 inch arms, 10-inch hands. He is a durable 4-year starter, and I quote from a scout, he's got Wisconsin football racing through his blood. He is plagued with oversets, and he has an inability to withstand power from the edges.
All right, there's that guy, and then a Florida receiver before we get to what Robinson?
Okay. Pick 194, Elijah Badger. That was great. That was fantastic. Elijah Badger, pick 194, 6'1", 32 1/8 inch arms, 200 pounds. He's got hands. I don't even know about the size anymore. I'm so tired. He has hands. He has 2 of them. He uses them. 4.43 in the 40-yard dash, 35-inch vertical. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, he's a very athletic guy. The game comes naturally, but he's thinner framed. Route running can be lackadaisical at sometimes, and speed will have to adjust to NFL coverages.
Big fan of this guy.
Yeah, interesting. Big fan or not a fan?
This guy or K?
Big fan of Badger.
No, Badger.
Big fan of Badger. Hamby, what do you like about him?
I mean, this guy can make a lot of plays. He's good in space. Kind of like what Coen was talking about at the top of the show. Finds a way to get open, makes himself available to the quarterback.
Okay, and then last pick number 221, Edge. What? Robinson, as Brent called him, or K. Robinson. I didn't even look this guy up. I'm not going to lie, it's pick 221. But Hamby, I'm sure a guy that you probably like because he is from the SEC. What do you got for us?
Well, this was an interesting one because I feel like I could name you at least 15 players on Alabama's defense, and this wasn't one of them. I have never heard of this guy. Edge depth, I will take it. But if you're playing on Alabama and I've never heard of you, that's probably an issue. So, yeah.
But nevertheless, a lot of players to like from the conference that didn't win a national championship this year. Fantastic.
Yep,
Brett, anything more for us?
Well, nice job, by the way. The mock drafters don't seem to care about edge depth right now in Jacksonville. I mean, if you're bringing in a 7th rounder, you're not factoring them into the fold. The Jags need to move earlier than the late rounds on an edge guy. They've saved it for the draft, Austin. So I don't agree with these mock drafts that don't have edge higher up.
No, without a doubt. And once again, I didn't even notice that, Brent, just because reading through all these picks. And listen, obviously, we'll take the vote to Twitter and we'll see who wins this thing. And Coach Ripley, I love you, but you better believe there is going to be some collusion against you in this Twitter vote. Okay, I'm going to be at the forefront. We're going to be marching like it was January, whatever that day, 6th or whatever it was, and I'm going to make sure that if you do get in, it will come with some blowback. That's all I'm going to say. That's not a threat. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen because you must have me pegged for somebody else if you think I'm going to break down that many players again ever on Shock Your Mock. If you want to trade, let's go ahead and trade for less players and not more. Thank you very much.
Coach Ripley should market Crescent City the way he just marketed himself. He got a lot of airtime with 16-person mock draft here on Shock Your Mock 2025. Impressive.
Whew. Yeah.
Hey, all right.
I'm shocked. All right, Brent, we'll see you guys later, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll get the final hour for you. That is your Shock Your Mock 2025 presented by Everbank. Everbank Advantage You. And by the way, you can enter into the sweepstakes until the end of this week. So you have until Friday to do it. 2025 NFL Draft Night trip, the Everbank Draft Night experience. Duval your way to Green Bay. Go to everbank.com/draft. Round trip airfare for 2. Hotel accommodations for up to 3 nights. 2 tickets to the first round of draft night. You got to go check that out. Why not put your name in? And you can do that with Everbank. Shock Your Mock 2025 presented by Everbank. All right, let's catch up on a break. Give Austin a little bit of a time out to go get some water. And then when we come back, we do have Mugshot Mondays. Oh, we're teasing Mugshot Mondays now.
Wow.
That's still on the way in the noon hour. I think Liv's list
I can
is
save
still
her.
on the way. Daniel Griffith's article, and also more with Liam Coen from today's owners' meetings. Oh, man, a lot to get to. Maybe we should do the show until 2 today. Thanks, Coach Ripley.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jax 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I'm ready to show my hand, ready to take a stand. Wait on a sign above, and I am ready, ready. 'Cause I just live for the game. 'Cause I just live for the game. 'Cause I just live for the game. The crown's for the tape. I got it. Iconic. I'm built to win. Back to back, I do it again. I'm iconic. I'm one of a kind. I'm iconic.
Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show. I can hear Brent laughing, so he's back. Yeah, listen, wasn't an ideal series for the Milwaukee Brewers, to say the least. MLB, get in there and step in and do something before I do. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
That's it.
That's it, man.
That's all you got. I got to research this a little bit as well. I didn't watch a lot of baseball over the weekend. I saw this floating around, but I think there's like some big articles now with like Jeff Passan and others asking about it and what are people going to do? Like, how's it going to impact the game? Or were they just hot in its Yankee Stadium? Like, who knows, right? I mean, but they obviously, I think I saw Aaron Judge is on pace to hit 304 home runs this year.
Awesome. Yep. I mean, dude, it's once again, you should have just kept your mouth shut. You should have said anything. All the broadcasters were bragging about it, thinking they're going to the World Series after one series, and we'll see what happens now. But I'm very curious to see, though, Brent, if they get ordered to go back to the old bats, is that going to affect them? Because, I mean, they've been using these bats for a while now. It seems like, I think even in like spring training they were using them a little bit. So the fact that they may be asked to go back to the old ones could be a detriment.
Absolutely. I mean, by the way, just in sports in general, right? Like if somebody said, hey, Austin, you can't use your helmet, right? Or the gloves that you use and you're comfortable with in the cage or something like that, that does something to your psyche anyway, especially in baseball, though, where baseball, you love that bat, right? Or you love your glove, or you are superstitious, or whatever it might be. It's all about feeling good, and so I think that could certainly impact them if that is the case. We'll see where this goes. It's a pretty wild story, one that I did not expect to be the start of the baseball season. Hey, make your own story at Best Bet, either in St. Augustine, in Orange Park, in Jacksonville, right off Monument Road. BestBetJax.com, the place to go to find out all the events. And they've got a big one coming up in April 24th to May 4th. It's the Mission Run Good Poker Series, and you can be a part of it. Up to $500,000 in guarantees as well. So make sure you check it out. BestBetJax.com. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Jason Hamby. We'll have Olivia Tassley coming up sooner or later. She's in early, so get ready to sit.
What do you got for us, Liv?
Let's see. All right, so first and foremost, while I was watching you guys, I had Good Morning Football on the TV in the background, and Peter Schrager is ending his time at Good Morning Football. It was on over the weekend that he signed with ESPN. They obviously didn't say that on Good Morning Football, but he's out. Oh, hey, there I am. Do I need to readjust?
What up, Liv?
Oh, my God. There we go. All right, so Peter Schrager is out of Good Morning Football. He will now go to ESPN, even though, Brent, I think I saw your tweet, correct me if I'm wrong, that ESPN is buying NFL Network, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, right? Like, I mean, again, they can still – he does some Fox stuff, too, so there's that. You probably had to get out of the Fox deal. But the NFL Network, the story is ESPN's buying them for, like, I thought it was like $2 billion or something.
Yeah, something
like that,
chaos,
crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
But so – I mean, so this kind of makes sense, right? If that's going to happen, they're going to get the guy to now work for ESPN. And hey, Schrager's good, and he's obviously made a good brand for himself. This might simply take away all that other stuff. This might simply be, hey, he raised the bar, raised his brand, raised his profile, much like Kay Adams did, and now it's time to go make some money somewhere else because you use it as leverage.
Yeah.
So did Peter Schrager announce this himself?
He announced it today on the show that it was his last show.
So then it was a Peter Schrager exclusive that he announced that he was leaving.
But the inside scoop from Peter Schrager himself.
No, actually, it was Andrew Marchand, I think, from like the New York Post that actually had it first. So I don't.
Oh, so it wasn't the exclusive. Okay, gotcha.
No exclusive.
Gotcha.
It was cool though because Nate Burleson was there, Jason McCourty was there, so it was kind of like a reunion of all the guys who had been on the show, and they said goodbye to Peter. So cool little moment.
Hey, one more note here as we see Adam Schefter here and Rappaport here and all these guys. If they're about to move to another spot and they can't break it themselves, what's wrong with that?
That's a good point, Brent.
I see nothing wrong with that.
That's a good point, Brent.
I see absolutely nothing wrong.
I see everything wrong with that, actually.
Speaking of NFL owners meeting, all the coaches are obviously there. Sean Payton
is there talking, and he actually spoke about Evan Ingram, which I thought was pretty cool. And he's obviously, as the new head coach, has all the best things to say about him. But Hamby, do you have it? You ready to go? All right, let's hear about
I see you, Hamby.
Evan Ingram from Sean Payton.
It took a little bit. In other words, the process relative to his visit, other visits, the vision was pretty clear. Obviously we feel like he's someone that can run and give us a passing threat on third down, red zone. I think he's got good body control. I think he's really good when he gets the ball in his hands. So his run after the catch numbers, statistically wise, have been good. But I would say with him, it was a lengthier process where it's kind of like the old days of free agency.
Lengthier process to go get Evan Ingram, which I'm still kind of salty about that. We let him go, but here we are.
A little bit. And I'm still kind of salty, too, that Hamby had that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Hamby had what?
Oh, no, I'm a little salty that Hamby had that ready just to go like it was no reason because Brent Martineau's here. But when Brent's gone on a Friday and we ask for video, we're waiting 20 minutes, and then we'll get it and we don't even talk about it anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. I didn't lose sleep over the weekend because of it. Brent, your thoughts?
Dad is back, and Mel Kiper Jr. is on good behavior.
Dad is back.
Full of yourselves.
Best behavior from all.
And Liv, by the way, produced that segment up a little bit. We stole some video from somebody, obviously, in Denver. To be able to use that. Sorry, whoever tweeted that.
It was the Denver beat reporters.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
There we go.
The Denver beat reporters.
Yeah, that's what he labeled himself as.
And they obviously like Evan Ingram. What else you going with, Liv's list?
Okay, so Brent, you missed it. We talked about the new NFL draft caps, and we gave a full-on review of all the hats. Well, Fanatics, which is a Jacksonville-based company, came out with one specifically for actor Rob Lowe, because we all know he's the one who shows up to a game and says, I just want everyone to have a good time. Here it is. National Football League hat just for Rob Lowe. Only one. It's very rare. Just dropped. Only for him.
Good for Rob Lowe, man.
I love it.
So is Rob Lowe like a giant football fan? Is this where this all came from in the beginning?
I think at one game, he just wore an NFL hat.
Yeah.
Very randomly. And then it just, took off.
Yeah.
So then he's like, well, I'm going to buy into this and just wear an NFL hat to every NFL game that I go to.
Next time we see Doug Peterson, he'll probably be wearing that as big of a fan as he is the shield. The shield, the shield, the shield.
Oh, my God. Not Pete. No. Oh, Doug.
That's very simple, by the way, that National Football League hat. He should get another one just says human.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Brent.
I love that.
Brent, can we get, Brent, for the next run of Action Sports Jack stuff, can we just get sports T-shirts or sports hats?
Go sports?
It just says sports on it.
Sports. Listen, hey, by the way, Liv and I are working on an Action Sports Jack's line.
We are.
So we've already had behind-the-scene conversations.
Is it going to be a onesie like she's wearing right now? Because
hey. I'm here for the comfort.
No, it is okay.
Come on.
Okay, because I'd love to see Brent Martineau flashing some of his legs in one of those things, but okay, never mind.
It won't be.
Yeah, shucks. Maybe I'll get a girls' line going. All right, last two more from me, actually. Aaron Rodgers' private throwing session with DK Metcalf over the weekend. Did we see that?
I did not see it, no.
Did we see that, Brent Martineau? No.
Aaron Rodgers trying so hard to stay relevant.
Staying relevant and yet not at all because, he's obviously checking all the boxes to potentially sign with the Steelers, and Tomlin was like, hey, we're not going to put a timeline on this. We're just going to let Aaron do Aaron, which I feel like is a smart decision because at the end of the day, Aaron is going to do Aaron.
That's true. This is very true. Do we have the latest in the Aaron Rodgers, love saga? Because his ex went on a nuclear rant about him and how bad of a person he is.
Yeah, toxic he was. Yeah.
That's Cheyenne Woodley, right?
Yes.
Look at me with my pop culture references.
You.
Yep.
Put you on the romance
This is
beat.
pretty good.
Should put me on a morning show.
She better. If she had stayed, with Aaron Rodgers, she might have been a part of Mugshot Mondays. It sounds like so. Hopefully.
Oh, no.
So, be careful.
Brent, leave Cheyenne Woodley alone. She's a sweetheart. Come on.
She was going through it.
I didn't know.
Yeah, she's nice.
But the latest. I thought you were going to ask the latest on the football stuff, but Mike Tomlin is like no timeline. It is kind of weird that that's still floating. Like, it feels like free agency has been buttoned up, right, for a while, and it feels like the Rodgers stuff is still just floating out there. And when is it going to transpire? Now, there's no crazy rush to get it done right now, but kind of interesting to see that it's just still – you almost forget about it, I guess is the point, until people got here and then Mike Tomlin started to talk about it. People were asked about it. So feels like Pittsburgh's still the connection, but when's it going to take place? Who knows?
And it's so, in my opinion, so uncharacteristic of Pittsburgh because this is kind of a big risk here. Like, I get it. You see Rodgers' numbers from last year, and they were okay. Like, they weren't the only reason why he wasn't the only reason why the Jets lost a lot, but it's like, it's kind of like me looking at all these, the mugshot Monday women. It's like, I can try to save him, but can I really save him? Like Mike Tomlin's looking at Aaron Rodgers saying like, well, can you bring the best out of him? Do you have the talent around? Do you have the culture? And maybe you do, but is the distraction going to outweigh that talent? And I'm not sure if it's going to or not, because if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, that's going to be front page headlines for a long time, I feel like.
Yeah, probably will. Be interesting to see where it goes. Liv's list, nice job. You got anything else, Liv? You good?
No, but happy April Fool's Day tomorrow. Do we still celebrate that? Do people still do that stuff? I saw people saying, like, cancel it because there's too much stuff going on in the world that I can't take a prank. So, it's fair.
Oh, there'll be plenty of them.
Yeah. Does your son celebrate?
There'll be plenty.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sure. Thankfully, I don't have him tomorrow. He's with mom tomorrow. So like, hey, thoughts and prayers to that. Thoughts and prayers to that household because I don't got to worry about it tomorrow. Because he's gonna have something cooked up for sure.
Love that. That's it for me. Those are all my things.
Good work, Liv. Good work. And by the way, April Fool's Day is tomorrow. It does feel like a recycled bit. And speaking of, recyclingsimplified.com, the place to go. Make sure you check it out and see the video about how you can recycle more efficiently at your home and business, recyclingsimplified.com. Let's take a time out here on the show, Brent and Austen Show with Olivia and Stewart here. And we got Jason Hamby, Mel Kiper Jr. back there. We still got more from Liam Coen from the NFL owners meetings and much more on the way before 1 o'clock here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
I'm Action Sports Jax Stuart Weber. Join me in the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation for Jacksonville Takes Steps at Memorial Park on April 12th. This event is dedicated to finding cures and raising awareness for digestive diseases. Register now at actionnewsjax.com.
The Jacksonville Sharks are your champions.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, take a look at what Daniel Griffiths provides us here on the show today on this Monday, the last day of March from the NFL owners' meetings. Foye Oluokun, look at all the tackles since 2021. He's a machine. 5 straight 100-plus tackle seasons, 101 stops in 22, and, of course, didn't get to that number in 23. 10th among active players in tackles, no surprise there. He is a machine. I actually feel like his splash plays have moved up a notch. I think that's what people were asking him about a couple years ago. I think 2 seasons ago he had some big-time plays. Remember the pick 6 against New Orleans? I feel like his sacks and fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, are a little bit more than he had early on in his career. At least I feel that way. I don't even know if the numbers necessarily add up to that way. But as we talk about the Jaguars' defense and under Anthony Campanile, and we welcome you back to the NFL owners' meetings here in Palm Beach, Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Jason Hamby, we bring up the That One Painter First Coast Paint the Player, and it's Foye Oluokun. And this guy seems like he fits in any system, Austin, right? I mean, I don't really feel like, oh, how's he going to now do because Campanile's the defensive coordinator? I feel like a guy like Foye is going to do well no matter what because he's a football player.
Yeah, he's a football player with a high IQ, and it seems like 9 times out of 10 he's in the right place at the right time. So when you have those types of attributes as a player, you can fit into a lot of systems. So I think in terms of being dependable, I feel like in terms of being a leader, especially a vocal leader, obviously calling out the plays and everything for that defense, it's essential to have guys like that. And I think Liam Coen and company and Campanile appreciate a guy like that.
Daniel Griffiths, by the way, writes for us on ActionSportsShacks.com. You can see the whole article and the breakdown and all the numbers with Foye Oluokun. And you can also check out that one, painter.com/first-coast. For all your painting needs this spring, a great time to do it is right now outside, but if you have some inside work as well, all over Northeast Florida, that one, painter.com/first-coast. I think the bigger question, and shame on me, I'm kind of kicking myself right now, Austin, a little bit. I know one of the topics I had on my agenda and didn't get to it today was trying to get a little bit more of a feel of how this regime thinks about Devin Lloyd. He's going into a really important season, and I know if I ask the question, I'm not sure anybody's going to be like, I don't think Liam Cohen's going to be like, oh, yeah, what, you're not a big fan of him? He's not going to say that, but I'm kind of interested to see what they can do with Devin Lloyd in this defense. And I also I'd love to figure out exactly how they really feel about him, because to me, he's one of the mysteries inside that locker room. I think he gets a lot of criticism on the outside, yet I feel like he gets more praise than we think on the inside over the last couple of years. So the linebacking unit is interesting to watch under Campanile in this new regime.
Yeah, it really is, and I think, there's, for instance, a guy like Foye Oluokun, who you feel like no matter the scheme that you put him in, he's going to be set up for success just because from the IQ and the experience. A guy like Devin Lloyd, he needs like the perfect scheme to maximize what he can bring to the table. And you feel like they've kind of tinkered around a little bit with him, but they haven't found that proper role like where he can shine the most. And I'm not sure if it would be with, Campanile's defense or not, but the biggest thing is, like, you've seen the athletic attributes. You've seen the physical attributes. Like, you get the sense that if you put this guy in position to make plays in the right spot, he can do it. It's just, whether it's the Ryan Nielsen scheme or schemes of the past, I feel like he hasn't found his ground, Brent, because, he's not versed to every single scheme that you can run.
Yeah, one more question about Foye, Austin. Are you at all surprised that with the money and the guys that they said goodbye to, and I know they just restructured, so I haven't looked at Foye's contract in a while. This one might have been harder to get out of. But, I mean, listen, if I had told you 3 months ago they were going to get rid of Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, I think it's fair to then ask the question, if they are going to reload and redo things a little bit with a new regime, could they have tried to move, in some respect, Foye Oluokun? And I'm not telling you I'm surprised he's still on the team. I'm just saying I felt like he could have been a potential candidate given the amount of hit that he is from a financial standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a world you could have seen that, Brent, but at the same time, and I get it, once again, Liam Cohen, Campanile, Gladstone, like, they don't know any of these guys. They don't know any of these guys anything. It's their way or the highway. I understand all that. But at some point, you gotta at least make it a habit of keeping a couple guys from the old regime, right? And yeah, you're going to have Josh Hines down, you're going to have Trayvon Walker, but once again, when we talk about consistency, like, why wouldn't you keep maybe the most consistent thing on this Jaguars team, especially on this Jaguars defense? So, yeah, maybe he would have, fetched a decent price. You could have got some capital in return. But at the end of the day, just like Daniel Griffiths broke down, sometimes consistency wins out.
Yeah, I'm going to hit, so we'll see how that Devin Lloyd part plays in. Also, I did ask about Trayvon Walker today with Liam Cohen. I don't think we have that sound. It wasn't much of a response, but it wasn't like, oh, yeah, we're getting to the table, we're having conversations. There was no news there on a Trayvon Walker kind of extension or anything of that. We do anticipate they will pick up his fifth-year option coming up in May. So we've got the next month to figure that out, and I think that will be pretty obvious. The sense is, Austin, I do think they really like Trayvon Walker. Obviously, there was a goofy trade stuff coming out a couple weeks ago. He's very much a part of that. And so, again, nothing real newsworthy on Trayvon Walker as we try to highlight some of these Devin Lloyd, the Trayvon Walkers, the Foye Oluokuns on the defensive side of things. So much talk on offense. But listen, Trayvon Walker's here to stay. Devin Lloyd, for now, here to stay. And it's a massive year for a guy like Lloyd. It could be a big year for Trayvon Walker. Remember, both in that same draft. They're going into those big contract years. A lot of money to be made by those two guys from that 2022 draft class, Austin.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's going to come down to, depending how Trayvon Walker does this year, but, if you do offer him a new contract, what is that going to look like? Because, you have guys like Myles Garrett kind of resetting the market again. And I get every single year you get more and more money to play with, but can you justify spending that much money at essentially the same position of 2 edge rushers? I think it's up for debate.
Yeah, and we'll see where it lands there. All right, let's stay on the Jags for a little bit, Hamby, if we can, before we hit the end of the show. And I know we've got some more sound that we didn't get to. I wanted to get to this one, Austin, because I thought it was pretty fascinating when Liam Coen talked today about Jordan Lewis. And it's funny how something in your mind can stay with you to the point of, hey, let's go get that guy. And it seems that's exactly what happened with Liam Coen. Almost to the point when you listen to this, it's like, wait a minute, that wasn't a James Gladstone pick as much as it was maybe a Liam Coen pick. Hard to know chicken and egg there, right, which came first. But I thought it was fascinating. Listen to the response when asked about Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis, man, broke my heart last year. We're going down to win and take the lead against Dallas last year. We throw a kind of a post to Jalen McMillan. It looks like we've got it. We're going to take the lead or at least tie at that point. And J-Mac has it. Jordan takes it out at the last minute and it ends up being an interception for a touchback. And you're just like, man, that's who he is. That's the way he competes. It's to and through the whistle. Like those guys that do it like that at a high level and are able to communicate as well at a high level, those are the guys that we're trying to bring in. He's completely what we were looking for and really excited to have him.
Pretty wild, huh? Do you think, when you see that and you hear that, obviously it's cool. Like Jordan Lewis, good player. I love the edge that he brings. I keep bringing that up. I think they do too. We've done the rankings with Daniel Griffiths. He's written about him. Go check it out again at actionsportsshacks.com, and you'll see all the numbers where he is as a nickel corner. This is a good investment, a big investment into the former Dallas Cowboy. But simply said, it's like a moment like that almost puts him near the top of the board. The metrics and everything else, the numbers, the stats, they also add up to say, hey, let's go get this guy. He can be a difference maker, the edge, the mentality. But it's funny to me how like a memory like that for Liam Coen. That was pretty strong words, Austin. He broke my heart.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have some heartbreak related to a player, they're going to stick out to you a little more. So, sometimes heartbreak can turn into love ever after, and hopefully Jordan Lewis coming here now can obviously add a lot to this defense. And I spoke on this before a little bit, but I think it warrants saying again, like Jordan Lewis, he is that dog, right? But off the field, he seems like
you finished off your statement, so I can't hear you right now, but I'll pick it up anyway, so sorry if I'm interrupting you. Let's move on to, if we can, guys. Hopefully I'm not messing this up too much. I want to get a couple more in for you can hear what Liam Coen had to say. And let's get to Baker Mayfield, because we're going to watch this Trevor and Liam Coen relationship develop. I thought it was pretty interesting to hear some of the behind-the-scenes of Baker Mayfield, some of the feistiness, if you will, of Mayfield, some of that competitive spirit of Mayfield, that personality and Coen interact with each other, but it really turned out well on the field to have a career year for Baker Mayfield. Cohen's trying to go 2 for 2 here and get the same out of Trevor Lawrence.
And obviously I was with him for a short time in LA. That helped bridge that gap a little bit, and I can't thank Baker enough for what we were able to do last year. That was such a cool year, and he was such a big part of that. Maturing off the field, man, he became a father, he became a husband. Like, he has really been able to grow. He understands the game at a high level. I think he's a little underappreciated from that aspect of his game. We were able to have really good dialogue, which only helps being on the field and having communication, and his leadership goes without saying. So it was easy to have those dialogues. Just being able to have honest conversations. Like, we had some real hard, at times, honest conversations that allowed us to, in times of crisis, be okay, right? In times of adversity, have real fluid conversations, because it gets heated. Bakes yelled at me. I was okay with that. We had a good conversation, we moved on, but every relationship's different, and I think that's what's important, is you learn something from Matthew Stafford, from Jared Goff, from all these guys, and Baker, to be able to take for these relationships moving forward.
Yeah, pretty interesting hearing from Liam Coen there, and the Baker Mayfield thing, I think we kind of have an idea what Baker Mayfield is. So when he says it got heated and he yelled at me and those kind of things, Austin, I'm like, oh, you kind of appreciate that. But, there's one thing I pick up from Coen, and there'll be more examples of this. We'll probably play on the show tomorrow when he's talking about culture and this is the way the NFL works. He shares some stories about, like, McVay and when he comes into the office and says something to him at a specific time. I'll wait until tomorrow if you haven't heard it. But the bottom line for me is the NFL is done a certain way sometimes. It's this tough, hard-knocksy kind of life, right, where it feels like it's going to be you're smarter than the other guy. It's secretive. I've always talked about that. Well, these guys don't feel that. It's more like, hey, it's football at the end of the day. You can be more transparent. You can be real. You can be genuine inside the building, outside the building. You keep hearing them say open and honest communication. It's okay to say how you feel. We're not going to cut you if you do that. I just like, again, the words and the different phrasing and the different messaging coming out of these guys that I just don't think is normal NFL speak, unless maybe you were recently covering the LA Rams.
No, for sure. I think when we talk about a coach like Liam Coen, he's had the luxury now of working with a few different situations at the quarterback position, a few different personalities. You see a guy in Baker Mayfield who plays off a lot of emotion. Might be the most emotional quarterback in the entire NFL. Like, that's not easy to wrangle in, right? Well, he wrangled that dude in. You have a guy in Jared Goff who, at the time he was with in L.A., who was, it almost seemed like, and I think Goff got a really bad rap in L.A. because he was like, he was the system quarterback, and but like it was still a young quarterback that you had to kind of hold his hand and walk him through it. And then obviously a Hall of Famer like Matt Stafford, you were around him as well and saw how he operated. Lo and behold, you had success with everybody there. So I think it speaks volumes in terms of personality types, and Trevor Lawrence airs on more of not the emotional type, more of just kind of the even-keeled type. But it goes to show you that Liam Coen can work with kind of any personality, any type of quarterback style.
We've got about 30 seconds, man. I think you would like today's NFL or playing for these guys and all that stuff that I just mentioned, being genuine rather than all the BS that goes into behind the scenes, and I think players like that more, right? It's kind of more real, and I guess that's what I'm saying. I think everybody likes that. Sometimes you got to dance around all that crap,
No, without a doubt. And the landscape can change and players can change and all these things can change, but what's still going to be at the forefront and what will never change is that players respond well to coaches that are genuine. Whether you're old school, whether you're new school, whether you're defensive minded, whether you're offensive minded, if you're genuine in getting your message across, players will sympathize with you.
All right, fun show today. Shock Your Mock Mugshot Mondays. Had a one-on-one conversation with Liam Coen. You can check it all out on the podcast. It'll be up at 1:30, of course, and then check it out all the time on social media. Back at it tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Here's a look at the brackets. Looks like 1,100 points is in the lead. Wow, how about that? This NCAA Tournament Bracket Update presented by Cycles of Jacksonville. Choose your adventure at Cycles of Jacksonville with motorcycles, ATVs, and boats. Just go to cyclesofjacksonville.com. And also our March Madness presented by First Coast Hyundai dealers. There's joy in every journey. Oh, Hamby, 101. Have we cracked the top 100 yet in the NCAA tournament bracket? Maybe. I've got 3 teams in the Final Four. Only didn't get Tennessee. We'll talk more about the NCAA tournament as we go. Of course, the Florida Gators, 2 more wins away from a national championship. Thanks for joining us today from the NFL Owners Meetings. We'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30. It's one of the hot spots in the area.
Welcome you to String Sports Brewery out at the beach. Big crowd on hand tonight. The fans are here.
And now, the newest hot spot at the beach is open. String Sports Brewery in Jacks Beach has opened its doors with rave reviews.
We're going to be fans forever.
Cozy up to the bar. Grab a seat in the sports-themed restaurant. Or grab a seat outside and feel that breeze coming off the beach as the weather warms. Just like the original location in Springfield, try the popular beer menu and come for lunch or dinner too, because the food is fantastic.
We got a special guest in the house. He's happy. He's feeling good. He's Trayvon Walker.
It's where we hosted Jags Report Live in the football season. and the String Sports Brewery staff can't wait to host you. Hey, welcome back here to String Sports Brewery. And if you haven't checked out the new location in Jags Beach, you got to do it. String Sports Brewery, now with 2 locations in Springfield and now open in Jags Beach on Penman Road.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Right now, you can take 10% off any water heater. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jags Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.